I would be without them. I have no clue. I'm Keith, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings wasted no time over the weekend pursuing EuroLeague MVP and Olympiacos star Sasha Vezenkov. Sacramento has officially offered Vezenkov an NBA contract worth part of their $12.4 million mid-level exception after clearing significant cap space last week by trading center Richaun Holmes and the 24th pick to the Mavericks. Speaking of assets, the Atlanta Hawks are sending John Collins to the Utah Jazz, sources told ESPN on Monday. The trade creates a $25 million trade exception for the Hawks, the largest in the NBA. The Hawks are acquiring Rudy Gay and a future second-round pick for Collins. Atlanta has a year to potentially exercise the exception, and the trade cannot become finalized until next Thursday. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Welcome in to Cattles and Ramie.
Not the boring, generic milquetoast stuff coming from the network in Connecticut.
I describe him as the best, obviously.
Cattles.
He throws it out there, speaks his mind. That's cool.
And Ramie.
He's supposed to make people laugh. He's just an expert at it.
Cattles and Ramie. Live and local in the afternoon.
Sactown Sports.
I'll tell you what, every time I'm gone for like a week or so, and I wipe this thing down, this counter.
Yes.
Awful. And we pay like a cleaning service, don't we? We have people that come in and
I think so.
Yes, every
I
night.
assume so.
Yeah.
Well, they obviously do not get the memo about the countertops.
I think they're going more after like trash bags and things like that. Yeah, I don't think they're wiping
they do
things
a full
down.
wipe down.
No.
Not like common spaces with a Lysol wipe every once in a while.
I don't think so.
Apparently not.
I've never
Mommy.
seen them at work, so I
Apparently
I
not.
can tell you, but the results would indicate.
I mean, we talk about the Lysol wipe. It was like black when I was done wiping right in front of me. So anyway, thanks for joining us as always. Happy Monday to you and yours. Very much appreciated. He's Ramie. I'm Cattles, Sactown Sports. Ramie, on Friday, I don't know if you've heard this or not, but on Friday, something big's going to happen. On Friday, NBA free agency is going to hit us in the face.
I have not heard.
Yeah. I might have some breaking news. Is that breaking news?
Is that a big deal?
Feels like
NBA
breaking news.
free agency?
Yeah, it's quite the big deal, especially when the Kings have like $36 million in cap space. So that's going to happen on Friday, which means this week is going to be bananas. Can we just start the show today and acknowledge and maybe even embrace the idea that this week is going to be bat bleep crazy with rumors?
That bananas are on the way?
Yes.
Okay.
This is going to be
Chicken.
I can agree to that.
nonstop.
I hope so, at least.
Ridiculosity is going to happen in the NBA this week. We're going to hear all sorts of rumors. We're going to hear roughly 35 dudes linked to the Kings. We're going to go through it all. We're going to have our fun. But that's what this week is. It's a busy, busy rumor week. So we start here with the Kings, Ramie. Sasha Vezenkov reportedly has been offered a contract by Monte McNair. We've been talking about this for, it feels like, I don't know, a year, ever since the Kings acquired the rights to Vezenkov. Was he going to come to Sacramento? How much was he going to ask for? Would they afford him? Did they want to afford him? What were they going to offer him? Well, according to Harry Stavro of Greek outlet Sport24.gr, the Kings offered Sasha.
It's my go-to.
Go-to.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of my show prep every morning.
I have it as a bookmark on my Chromebook.
Obviously.
At the top, always go
Were
check
you guys
it out.
reading the article in Greek this morning to get all the details?
100%,
You know I was, Kyle.
You know fluent in Greek. Fluent in Greek right here.
You have to ask
100%.
that.
So here's what was written in Greek. The Kings have offered Vezenkov an NBA contract worth part of their $12.4 million mid-level exception, or quote-unquote slightly lower than the $8.4 million Keegan Murray will make. Now, I'm not going to glaze people's eyes over, okay? But the Kings, if they act as a cap space team, they do not have the full mid-level exception. They don't have the $12.4 million. They have another exception that's called the room exception, which is $7.7 million.
The room exception?
Yes.
I've never heard of the room exception.
It's a great time. It's when you're under the cap. When you're under the cap, you're still allowed an exception.
What does that
and
even mean?
It means you have room. You have room under the cap. So it's the room exception. Telling you. I mean, do you think the NBA thought hard and long about this? So
Nice.
I think what they're talking about is, and it really kind of marries with this report saying that Vezenkov would make slightly lower than Keegan at $8.5 million. The room exception, $7.7 million, slightly lower than the $8.5 million. So it looks like the Kings have offered Sasha Vezenkov their exception, their room exception for about $7.7 million. Are you okay with Sasha Vezenkov at around $8 million?
Yeah, that sounds, based on previous reports that we had heard, Nick, that he was looking to net $5 million when he came over to play in the NBA to make it worth his while to come over and do that. We figured it was going to take somewhere in the 10 to 12 million range, that mid-level exception, not the room exception,
right?
But that mid-level exception that they have. If he'll come over for this, it's a cheaper price tag than what we thought it might be. And this offseason continues to get better for the Sacramento Kings. But if that's not enough, then as we've said, you and I are both pretty convinced that Sasha Vezenkov, he's not the entirety of plan A, but he's a pretty big piece of the puzzle of plan A. And if that's not enough and that's all they're willing to offer him at this point, well, then it's on to plan B, and you start putting together that puzzle, whatever it might look like. That sounds cheaper than what we thought it might be, though.
I'm okay with it. I'm more than okay with it.
Very good with it.
If you can pay him this room exception, if you can pay him just under $8 million to start off here in year one, and of course the deal would escalate from that point, but not by a ton, it makes a lot of sense. You know, the prior conversation you and I had about Vezenkov, $9 million, $10 million, I said I would not go to $10 million. I would not go to $12 million. Well, now it's a different set of circumstances. First of all, 7.7 is not 10, is not 12, so you're getting them for cheaper. Number two, you now have $36 million or so, give or take a few $100,000 of cap space. You've got that cap space now that you've created by trading Richaun Holmes into that trade exception from Dallas during draft night. So you have a lot more money at your fingertips than you did going back a month and a half ago when we first approached the idea of paying Vezenkov $10, $12 million. You also, Ramie, have the trade exception for about $12 million from Dallas. So you have a lot of different aspects or tools at your disposal that you can use to acquire talent. So if you dump $8 million in Vezenkov, you still have $36 million in cap space. You still have this trade exception, and you still have assets like Davion Mitchell that you can trade.
Right. So if they use the room exception, that means that they don't eat into any of the 35
Correct.
that they have in cap space.
Correct.
I'm so confused.
Therefore, the exception.
What even is the
Not even gonna lie, someone was saying they have like negative 26 million in practical cap space. None of it makes sense.
So if you just look at it,
do that.
I think that's because they haven't renounced anybody officially yet. You have to officially renounce your free agents. If you don't, they're cap holds.
I see. Okay.
So like Harrison Barnes right now, his salary is a cap hold on your cap because what was happening was teams were circumventing the rules. They were keeping guys on their like not on their books, but they had agreements behind closed doors. Like Monty would be like, "Hey Harrison, we're going to bring you back." And then they get $36 million in cap space and they would get Harrison back and a bunch of other dudes. So the NBA said, "No, you've got to keep that person on your cap with a cap hold." But they do have about $36 million in cap space. They have the exception. They have the trade exception from Dallas. So all in all, Ramie, when you look at it, the Kings have around $55 million to play with via trade, via exception, via cap space. That's a buttload. So I'm no longer worried about paying Vezenkov $9-10 million because
I'd go
you
up
have a whole heck of a lot more.
I'd be willing to go up another million or two
because
if that's what it took.
You're not paying Vezenkov now because remember this is the domino effect, right? If you're paying Vezenkov around $8 million, he's a bench guy clearly, and you have other big fish that you can net with the other assets and tools that you have.
Take care of y'all chickens.
So Vezenkov can end up being your third or fourth biggest, quote unquote, acquisition of the offseason. We're no longer talking about this guy being the biggest or second biggest acquisition of this summer. That's how things changed on draft night for the Kings. That's how big that trade was, because there's a lot of different avenues now that you can attack and bring in talent. We want your thoughts on this report from Greece that Sasha Vezenkov has been offered the exception from the Kings, it sounds like, which would be around $7.7 million, slightly lower than Keegan Murray, what he's going to make this year. Are you good with that? Ramie and I are certainly good with it. 916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. You can check us out on YouTube, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. We'll get to your reaction on Vezenkov and this report. Also, did the Kings just tell us that they plan on big game hunting on Friday? Latest in 90 seconds.
The King season might be over, but Sactown sports coverage never stops.
I feel like we grew a lot during this playoff series with our defense, and if we can sustain that during a year, that's going to help us a lot.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Did you know that money market accounts offer higher dividends than a traditional savings account, all while still being able to access your money at any time? Hey, Jason Ross here, and I want to tell you to step up your earning power with a Level Up money market savings account at Safe Credit Union. With competitive dividend rates, you can take your savings to the next level. Visit safecu.org/levelup for more information and to open up an account today. Insured by NCUA.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
One brings Macloff magic, while the other, we're still trying to figure that out.
Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports.
Kings looking to make some big moves, I think, Ramie. That Richaun Holmes trade. Look, you're not trading a first-round pick last week unless you got your eyes on something.
Yeah.
Or a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trading a first-round pick to create that cap space unless you have a pretty good idea as to what you might be able to get via free agency. That's just my 2 cents.
No, that move was made to make moves.
Yes. Alan Diamond is wondering, do we just stay screwed on rebounds? No. I think they'll address the boards. They'll address several things.
We were talking about a Sabonis extension in the chat, which is what led to that comment.
I see.
Well, we won't get into that right now. We don't need to get into the Sabonis extension idea just yet. We have plenty of other things to discuss. Maybe we'll get to that a little bit later in the week. I will tell you about the extension stuff, though. I don't know what the rush is. So Atlanta, speaking of feeling rushed, Atlanta was trying to rush John Collins out the door for like 3 years. This guy was in more trade rumors than anybody I could ever remember.
He might have been the most rumored guy not to move.
It's like every day.
For the last couple of years.
It's like Brooke Lopez on the Nets. Every year, the same time, there'd be trade rumors.
In season, out of season, nonstop. John Collins.
Including
Hawks
to the Kings 2 or 3 times.
I mean, the Hawks pretty much put this dude on the corner with like a "come pick me up" sign. Like he was left on the front
One of those
step,
sandwich board signs.
Yeah, like furniture you're trying to get rid of. You just put it out in the front, hope somebody picks it up with their pickup truck.
I like to imagine Kevin Pritchard of the Pacers just driving by and then trying to look the other way.
I mean, Collins was they were dying to give this guy away. Well, today it finally happened. So congratulations to the Atlanta
Found the
Hawks.
taker.
Mission accomplished. Put the banner up behind you during the press conference. You were able to get rid of John Collins. And boy, man, oh man, what an illustrious package of assets they received for John Collins. After 3 years of nonstop trade talk, John Collins gets traded to the Jazz for Rudy Gay and a second-round pick.
This has always been a thing, but I think this new CBA and all the luxury taxes that are coming with it, Nick, look at what Bradley Beal got traded for. Teams are offloading money like that. That is an asset in and of itself at this point, is to just get rid of money and stay under that luxury tax that's going to be hefty under this new CBA. I think you're going to see more and more of this, of teams unloading good basketball players for what seems like not a lot of assets, but when you look at why they are doing it, it turns out it's just to unload money.
And here was ESPN's Bobby Marks on the salary dump.
This is an example of the new collective bargaining agreement. We sent out the article. We put out the article this morning as far as the spending tiers of free agency. The Hawks were in the tier 5 when it comes to free agency, the dreaded first and second apron teams. They were a luxury tax team. They were over the first apron. They were headed toward the second apron. They were in basically financial purgatory because of all their contracts, the Collins contract, the DeAndre Hunter contract, the Trae Young contract. And for them to get out of purgatory, they had to make a salary dump. And it's fine to admit that you made a salary dump. When you trade John Collins for Rudy Gay, it's a salary dump.
Yeah. I mean, Rudy Gay, one of my favorite players for quite a while. I loved Rudy Gay. Obviously, I grew up in New England. Remember watching him play college, all that good stuff. Big fan of Rudy Gay. But anything short of Rudy Gay would have been a bag of basketballs at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what they're giving away. They're giving away like a turkey sandwich for John Collins.
Your boy Danny Ainge strikes again.
That's what's happening here. So a turkey sandwich, maybe some veggie straws on the side, maybe. Second round pick, maybe the veggie straws. It depends on if that second round pick will be even. I'm a big fan. Ranch veggie straws, healthy for you. They're good. So the first thing,
crunchy snack.
It's like chips, but not really. Straws instead of chips.
You've seen them before, Ramie.
Yeah, you have, absolutely.
Yes,
they're pretty good.
Absolutely.
They're multicolored. Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like a snack Friday coming up.
Looking at them now. No.
So the first thing I thought about, because you just mentioned this a few minutes ago, the Kings had been one of those teams. I know Dave in the morning, right? Carmichael Dave was big on this last year, and there were reports that the Kings were discussing John Collins, that they might have even been close, if you read some people write about the topic, that they wanted John Collins, they were interested in. So the first thing that jumped into my mind when I saw this, aside from John Collins just got traded for a turkey sandwich, was the Kings were not interested in John Collins right now for a turkey sandwich. They have the cap space. They could have given anything away, nothing away for John Collins, and Monty McNair said thanks, but no thanks. That tells me, Ramie, that either they did not want Collins, which I don't think is the case, because, again, they had shown interest in him for the last year or so. It's not that they hate the player. Mm-hmm. It's not that they would not be interested. What this tells me, I believe, is that the Kings believe they have a better option set up soon, whether it's free agency or a trade. They believe they have something lined up that to them is much more sexy and desirable than John Collins was.
Yeah, because they've clearly been interested in him, Nick. You don't see the number of rumors that we've seen concerning John Collins and the Kings unless Monty McNair or somebody who has the ear of Monty McNair has some serious interest in that dude and thinks that he's a pretty good ball player and could come here and help. But clearly he was available, and he was available for not a lot in return, just to take that money off their hands. And the Kings could take money off their hands with the newly discovered cap space that they found on draft night, and they just chose not to get in on that. I mean, you're right. Rudy Gay would be who off the Kings roster? Who are we talking about? You're not even giving up Davion Mitchell. You know what I mean? You're not giving up. I don't even know who it would be.
Kessler Edwards.
Sure. Yeah, it'd be a Kessler Edwards for John Collins.
Yeah. I mean,
and they were like, "Nah, we're good. Thanks. We got bigger, better fish to fry."
There really wasn't anything of consequence given up. So even if the Kings just said, "Hey, we'll ship you a couple of second-round picks," the reason why Utah threw Rudy Gay in the package is probably because they just wanted to get Rudy Gay off the roster. He was wasting a roster spot. The Kings, because they had the cap space, could have offered a couple of seconds or a second-round pick and took Collins off of Atlanta's hands. So that tells me that the Kings and Monte McNair have somebody else or maybe a couple of other people in mind. Now, from Utah's side of this, because they're obviously a Western Conference team, which will impact the Kings, they're a fascinating team, man. They got John Collins, Lauri Markkanen, and Walker Kessler now. That is a big...
I was just going to say, that's a lot of size.
Athletic team. And Markkanen could play the 3. You might be able to get away with Collins playing the 3, even though ever since the finger injury, his effectiveness shooting-wise has gone down. But when Quinn Snyder went to Atlanta, they told Collins to shoot more. And he did shoot better in stretches with Snyder in that system. Was that just because Collins' injury? Was it because he was playing with Murray and Young this year and they have the ball out in their hands? So I think, Utah's kind of starting to grow on me here as a team that you got to watch for. They still have a bunch of cap space.
I was going to say, and they have a bunch of draft picks, don't they? In the next few coming drafts.
The Donovan Mitchell trade.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got, and the Rudy Gobert trade, which, thank you, Minnesota. I mean, they got a ton of assets. They got a ton of space, and they've got a team that already right now doesn't look too bad on paper.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
This was a no-risk deal for Danny Ainge. If you believe that John Collins, even if he gives you 15, 16 points a night, 7, 8 rebounds, I mean, even if he gives you that for the next few years, you gave up nothing for him, and you had the cap space. So I think Utah's a fascinating team. Atlanta, they're trying to figure it out. Adrian Wojnarowski wrote today after he broke this story that, they're still looking to make moves. DeAndre Hunter is reportedly on the block. I've read that DeJounte Murray might be on the block because they're not 100% certain that Murray is going to stay because he's got a big fat extension coming up. So they're a team in flux right now.
They fell apart fast.
If you read around, it certainly seems like Trae Young is the only guy that might be untouchable on that team. And that's something to say when you got Murray, you got Capella, you've got Hunter, you've got a lot of guys on that team. I think all of those guys I just mentioned have more value than Collins does. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Atlanta tries to put these pieces together.
I don't think they're going to be able to put it together in any real sort of way anytime soon.
You got to think they're looking at Jaylen Brown, by the way. Like, as the great hope. He's from Atlanta. He's in his mid-20s. I think that's one of the guys that they would love to have.
I don't think he's going anywhere, though.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get the Supermax, and then it'll all be moot for a year once he signs that Supermax.
Right, because he can't be traded.
Quick update, Ramie. The Jazz can have up to 13 first-round picks in the next 6 years.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Danny Ainge with like 13 first-round picks, cap space. I mean, keep an eye on Utah.
Huh.
They're building something there. And I'm that's no joke. They are building something there. All right, we'll continue with basketball talk and more coming up next.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Apparently, there is a cage match brewing between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. Now, I hope this happens for many reasons. Number one, it just goes with the downfall of our society. Number two, nothing more fun than seeing super ultra mega billionaires just beat the hell out of each other. Number three, it would obviously be a terrible, terrible, terrible fight.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
Over there.
are statistically
It's still alive.
unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants like lemongrass and geraniol and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring. because of its irresistible scent, and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
Hey, it's Nick Cattle suggesting you celebrate your 4th of July the right way with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Our Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned us into pros. Napoleon grills have features other grills can't match. Built different, built better, and built to last. All made with premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Just go to Napoleon.com for your nearby Napoleon Grills dealer. Napoleon Grills, now is the time for the best selection of grills and fine accessories. Now is the time to take care of your 4th of July.
Prestige line comes with a lifetime warranty. Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical pool, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2, brought to you by Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, E2 Family Winery, and Hyatt Vacation Club.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Are you one of those players that finishes a round, takes off your golf shoes, and dumps them in your car trunk? Golf Digest says you can extend the life of your shoes with just a bit of care. Use a little warm water and maybe a drop of soap to wipe away any dirt after your round. Actually, I just wipe mine with a wet towel when I take them off, and they stay looking like new. Also, use shoe trees to maintain their shape and keep the insides dry. If you have more than one pair, rotate them so you don't wear the same shoes 2 days in a row. Change your spikes because new spikes will help you get more traction for your faster than necessary swing. And with Sacramento's hot summers, give your shoes a break and don't leave them in the trunk of your car. That will suck the life right out of them. With so many brands, styles, and colors on the market today, you can certainly find the right pair for your personality and your game. When you think about it, golf shoes are really part of your equipment. Treat them well. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
The Gold Rush Classic takes place July 13th and 14th in Rancho Murrieta. Come join the fun and play golf with a celebrity, or just check out the concert. The Gold Rush Classic, where the stars and guitars shine. For more info, go to goldrushclassic.org.
At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. See our selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Sactown Sports.
I'm Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings wasted no time over the weekend pursuing EuroLeague MVP and Olympiacos star Sasha Vezenkov. Sacramento has officially offered Vezenkov an NBA contract worth part of their $12.4 million mid-level exception after clearing significant cap space last week by trading center Richaun Holmes and the 24th pick to the Mavericks. Speaking of assets, the Atlanta Hawks are sending John Collins to the Utah Jazz, sources told ESPN on Monday. The trade creates a $25 million trade exception for the Hawks, the largest in the NBA. The Hawks are acquiring Rudy Gay and a future second-round pick for Collins. Atlanta has a year to potentially exercise the exception, and the trade cannot become finalized until next Thursday. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Welcome back into Cattles and Ramie.
Welcome back. With you 1 mile at a time during the afternoon drive. Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports.
Let's hit up the text line, YouTube chat, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Willie Bowen bringing up Chris Middleton. Says he's 6'7". The Kings have enough small forwards. I don't think the Kings have enough small forwards. The Kings need wing help.
Yeah, I'll take Chris Middleton. We talked about that last week.
Out on Middleton.
Really?
Yeah. Out.
You're picky.
Out on Middleton.
You're picky.
Is that because of the price tag or the player?
Number one, if you're going to sign him, you're going to give him an obnoxious contract because his number one priority is to go back to Milwaukee. I think the only way he leaves Milwaukee is if you come way over the top. And that's if Milwaukee doesn't offer him what they can offer him, which is more than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd have to go way over the top, like $40 million a year. You're going to pay Chris Middleton $40 million a year. I'm out.
Maybe at that price tag. I was thinking in the 30 to 35 range.
I'm out. I mean,
I'd be in on that.
Like even 35, I'm out. Even 30, I'm probably out. Even though he was born the same day I was born, not same year, but shares August 12th as a birthday.
Wow, look at you!
I just found that out when I Wikipedia.
Cash money.
I literally just Googled him, check on his age, and I was like, oh, August 12th. He was born 10 years after, to the day that I was born.
Wow, you got
10-year anniversary of my birth on Earth.
You got a birthday
Chris
coming
Middleton.
up, huh?
Yeah. So, he's gonna be 32 in August. He's had a bad knee, like
wrist surgery.
I could see him just declining rapidly. And all of a sudden, you got a guy in your books for like $35 million a year that's playing 30 games. I'd be afraid of that.
Be a bad look.
Be afraid of that. More reaction into the YouTube chat. Dwayne Baker says Atlanta thinks they have the horses to get Jaylen Brown or Pascal Siakam. Siakam's somebody that's been mentioned. I was reading that today. That Atlanta's interested in Siakam. And I forget who Atlanta drafted. Kyle, can you look that up? They drafted somebody who reportedly the Raptors wanted, but Atlanta ended up drafting him. And the idea is that they might use that player as a chip. I don't remember who drafted who last week outside of the Kings because, first of all, the draft coverage stunk. My God, was that awful. Awful to watch. Awful to watch. Can we have any more family members sit on the couch for those interviews?
I saw you tweeting about that. They took Kobe Buffkin out of Michigan.
Yeah, so Kobe Buffkin. How about that name?
That's a strong basketball name right
So
there.
Kobe Buffkin is the guy that apparently the Raptors were pretty high on. And so Atlanta ended up drafting him. So the idea is like, ooh, maybe they drafted him and they've had eyes for Siakam. Maybe they offer him as part of like a big package to go to Toronto.
That's so weird because the Raptors had the pick 3 picks before them and chose Grady Dick.
I don't know.
Such a
they wanted
strange
both.
choice.
I am not going to say the joke that I had in my head right there for a second. It was sitting there on a silver platter. Just sitting there,
Yeah, I had to do that a lot Thursday and Friday.
So,
I'm proud of you guys.
to power through.
Thank
I
you.
can still do it at any moment.
Power
I'm
through,
trying to
okay.
power
Thank
through as we speak.
Just hold back.
If you want a guy, you want a guy, right?
Right.
And if that's the guy you want,
Exactly.
then
Exactly.
you got to go for it. So that's been mentioned. Siakam. Again, Jaylen Brown's not going anywhere for a year. He's going to end up signing the Supermax. And as soon as he signs that, he is in Boston until next July. He's going nowhere. He might go somewhere after next July. And I think he wouldn't mind going somewhere else. I think Jaylen wants to be a number one. I think that's what that's what he wants. He wants to be a number one guy.
But he wants that Supermax deal first.
Yes,
and
of
foremost.
course.
Yeah,
That's a Bradley Beal.
exactly.
Bradley Beal got his money. He
Yes.
knew he was going to be out of Washington within the next year or two. He signed the big fat contract extension, got his scuttle, and then,
And I was like, hey guys, I kind of want to get out of here.
Maybe being here is not great anymore. Draymond Beam, by the way.
Turned into me after 2 hours of hanging out.
Yeah. I'm out,
Time to go.
Felt good about it, but now I gotta go. Draymond Beam in the YouTube chat. Y'all need defense. I'm your man. We'll talk about Draymond in a little bit. I will say that some of the Draymond talk has me scratching my head. Like, there are people, even here in Sacramento, that I appreciate, and I think that they're very smart basketball people that are telling me about Draymond Green and what he can bring to this team. And I'm just left scratching my head. We'll get to Draymond a little bit later on. But Draymond, Kings. All I'll say right now is that I might not be the most sold guy on that thought. Quickly, just want to mention this for a couple of minutes here. Some football talk, because this jumped out at me. So Vic Tafur at The Athletic did his mailbag with readers, and Michael S. sent a question into Vic and said, I know Mark Davis has said he wants stability, and that's fine, but if JMD fails this year, Josh McDaniels, and he puts in parentheses 4-13, with his chosen quarterback and other guys he handpicked, could you see him fired at year's end? And Tafur said, my opinion hasn't changed. This year's record doesn't matter. And McDaniels and general manager Dave Ziegler are counting on Davis's newfound patience to build the roster up the right way. Now, Tafur does say later on that if the Raiders, don't at least match last season's 6 wins, and the young talent doesn't look great, and the fans turn on McDaniels, he does leave some wiggle room for Davis to change his mind and get rid of McDaniels. But it sounds like, according to Tafur, he thinks that McDaniels will be safe. He wins 6 games, 7 games this year. It's not going to matter, Ramie.
I don't know how they did this. I don't know how Ziegler and McDaniels went from a year ago, hey, give me all the money I need to and all the assets I need to go and get Devontae Adams because we are ready to win football games right now. To 1 year later, I'm out on the quarterback.
Yeah.
I need to change the whole thing. We need to overhaul this entire defense. Like, I don't understand how in a matter of 1 year you convinced Mark Davis to make this 180-degree turn in terms of the direction of and the goals of this franchise.
Like, I don't understand.
What I mean?
Yeah, and it's mixed messages to me. Like, to me, McDaniels and Ziegler didn't necessarily choose a path. They didn't choose the rebuild path because they signed Chandler Jones and they signed Jimmy G.
They were trying to win last year.
Right.
And came up really, really short.
It seems to me that they moved the goalposts as they continued to lose last year. It was like, oh, you know what? We're not trying to necessarily win 10, 11 games this year. That wasn't really the plan. Well, if you're a rebuilding team, you're not spending a ton of money on Chandler Jones and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
So
thing is, we all see it, but it's not our money. The guy who's funding this whole thing, he seems to be going right along with it.
Well, he's funded bad things before, like his haircut, and just continues to push on through.
Is he bald or does he have hair? Do we know? Have we seen him?
Last we saw him was at the WNBA championship. He was bald.
Okay. All right. Rocking the Lex Luthor. I like it. It's definitely better than the bowl.
I was just gonna
right?
Say, yeah. We
For
almost
sure better than the bowl.
Yes.
Really?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Yeah. The bowl. Yeah. Come on.
Simone, a lady's opinion? You don't think so?
I mean, the bald, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And maybe just it's because of what I'm used to. It's a lot.
By the way, just to update the Draymond talk, Chris Haynes apparently says that Draymond is open to taking free agent meetings with other teams. So
good for Draymond.
There's your latest on Draymond.
Pick up the phone, Monty.
By the way, all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Will Ramie drag Netflix and why? Find out coming up.
Sactown Sports is your source for the 49ers.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful.
Did that leave a bitter taste in your mouth?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Me and Cal had a long meeting the other day. We watched tape. We talked about it. We put it behind us. And just going through the tape and just look how sluggish and like how bad it looked on tape. Like I said, just reflecting on last offseason, it kind of played a big role in that. And I'll never put nothing like that back on tape again.
Tune into Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for the latest 49ers offseason developments.
Oh, God. He's back.
Who's back?
The clown.
The naked one?
Yes, Giggles. He just drove on the lot in a new Kia.
What, does he want to trade it in?
No, he wants to show it off.
Isn't he showing off enough? Oh, here he comes.
See what Elk Grove Kia did for me? That's service. That's why they got my business, not you.
I think we've already too much for your business. Thank you.
Elk Grove Kia, great service for everyone.
Elk Grove Kia has never made it easier for you to show it off. Like the hottest all-electric EV in the market, the luxurious EV6. Save big with lease specials of $10,000 below MSRP. Not just one or two, but every EV6 in stock. And don't worry about credit. No credit, bad credit, charge-offs, repos. Don't worry. Our team has over 100 years of experience. Others say no. Elk Grove Kia says yes. Get your EV6 today at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or elkgrovekia.com and show it off today.
Elk Grove Kia. Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. Well, coming up in August, the A's will induct the next class into the A's Hall of Fame. It'll be before the A's play the Giants on Sunday, August 6th. And what a group. Jason Giambi, World Series champions Carney Lansford and Gene Tennis, five-time All-Star and former Philadelphia Athletic Bob Johnson, and the great voice of God, Roy Steele. The induction ceremony, the A's and the Giants on August 6th. Ken Korak here, introducing you to the Xfinity 10G network. Xfinity is undergoing a multi-year network evolution, giving you a powerful connection today while building toward a faster, more reliable tomorrow. The Xfinity 10G network gives you the fastest internet with even faster speeds rolling out all the time. You also get a consistent and reliable connection when everyone's online, even during peak hours. That's a home run. If you want to learn more, go online at xfinity.com/10G.
Pain is not normal. Repeat. Pain is not normal. Greetings, Sacramento. Doug Christie here with the Good Feet Store. Does this sound familiar? It's the end of the workday and the pain in your feet, knees, hips, or back is unrelenting. Good Feet understands that you've likely already tried assorted remedies and solutions with no relief. And now you're pretty much resigned to living with the pain. But do not give in to the pain. Instead, come to the Good Feet store for their end-to-end 3-step arch support system. Good Feet is the nation's largest manufacturer and retailer of personalized arch supports. With arch supports in over 300 sizes, styles, and flexibilities, and an arch support specialist in each store. Come in today for a free, no-obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk around the store or around the center. Experience the comfort, balance, and support possible with the Good Feet system. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now in Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Summertime is a great time to get your home evaluated for solar, and while you're at it, make sure your roof is in good shape for all seasons. Hey, Jason Ross here to tell you about ACR Solar and Home Services. Go to acrsolar.com to find out all the different things that they can provide for you. And while we're all watching utility costs go up, along with everything else, why not make the most of the sunshine beating down on your roof? Harness that solar power and cut those rising utility bills while at the same time improving the value of your home. ACR Solar and Home Services makes it easy with a simple evaluation that'll show you just what it would take to get your home generating savings that help your bottom line and help protect the environment. So start now, and while you're there, ACR Solar and Home Services can make sure your roof is in prime condition. So just go to acrsolar.com and start your savings today. ACR Solar and Home Services, quality, value, and integrity since 1979.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and more.
This is Cattles and Ramie
on Sactown Sports.
My unfiltered, unadulterated thoughts on Draymond Green coming up in 15 minutes.
Oh. Are they FCC compliant?
Well, I don't want to get fired.
Okay.
So they are filtered.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you could be unfiltered and not curse.
And not everybody has a potty mouth.
Yeah.
You know?
Kyle. Kyle. So,
I've hung out with Nick off the air. Never, ever. Has said a curse word.
Never curse.
Never, not once.
Telling you, I've got the cleanest vocabulary out of anybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're constantly cleaning us up. It's crazy.
Simone had to deal with me on Saturday night a little bit for an hour or two.
Oh, yeah, you guys got together.
She did.
huh?
She pulled the quasi-Ramie, though. She was out quick.
I had places to be with my girls.
She was there for a good time, not a
Saturday
long
night.
time.
Wow.
Good time, not a long time. She had to go hang out in her friend's backyard.
Oh my God. Can I just talk about this very quickly? She lured us over to her backyard for a hot tub that wasn't hot.
Oh, geez.
Shut it down.
And we're there for
What?
hours waiting for it to warm up.
Hold on,
I never
stop.
Hot tubs don't heat up fast.
Did you notice what she just said? She spent Saturday night with Kelly and I for probably 75 minutes.
Okay.
She just told us that she went to her friend's house.
She left y'all for a cold
for a hot tub
Yeah.
that wasn't hot.
Yeah.
And I quote, we stayed there for hours.
waiting for the hot tub to get ready. I needed the satisfaction of it actually being ready
You could
to
have left and
receive
gone back.
me.
I would have left and gone back. I'd be like, you know what? Call me when it's actually ready. You had me come out here for nothing.
It's crazy.
Wasn't this the same friend that had a Fakakta TV
Yes.
for the Super Bowl?
No, it's fine. The TV's fine, Nick. We're not really supposed to talk about that on air.
I'm not going into any kind of detail. I'm just
Okay.
saying. Then
Yeah.
she had a TV
It was
situation for the Super
fine.
Bowl.
And the Tubi commercial of it all, that's what threw me off.
okay. Yeah, you
So it
told
was
me
fine.
about that friend.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
You guys have met her. Her name is Obi. She's lovely.
Yeah, I know Obi.
There you
Love
go.
Obi. She's
One
very
Kenobi.
nice. Very nice.
Yes, yes, yes.
One more.
Anyways,
My one
that
Kenobi
hot
didn't work out
tub
for you?
situation was crazy.
The Obi-Wan Kenobi joke didn't hit at all?
Sorry.
Didn't hit
No.
there.
Wait, did that just go over your head, Ramie?
No, I heard it.
Okay.
He just didn't find it funny.
Didn't hit. He was right.
It's
didn't
fine.
he? So
I just
Obi
find
was
it-
the one with the cold hot tub?
I find it very
Yes.
coincidental that,
Yes, on
that
Saturday.
Simone, who's a gigantic Star Wars fan, has a friend by the name of Obi.
It's perfect, right?
Yeah. I find funny in that. Ramie doesn't. It's fine.
She has a dog named Abby.
Abby and Obi.
Beautiful.
Wasn't that like
Very
a
cute.
Dave Letterman joke when he hosted the Academy Awards or whatever?
I don't remember that.
It was Oprah. He's making a joke about Oprah meet Uma or whatever the hell.
I have no idea what you're
Two
talking
weird
about.
names. It didn't hit.
Didn't hit.
The Letterman joke didn't hit.
Just like it's not.
Just
now.
like my Obi joke didn't hit. But anyway, Simone would rather hang out and wait for a hot tub to get hot than hang out with me at a bar.
You were the secondary plan. You invited me out that
Wow.
It's
afternoon.
getting worse.
Wow.
She thinks she's making
You're
this better, and
secondary.
she's just making it
Hurting
worse.
your
You are
feelings.
secondary.
By the way, who texted this morning? All fired up to hang out this weekend. I think it was one Simone.
Simone, it was.
And now the truth is coming out about the hot tub and all this stuff.
Whatever.
Kyle just looked back and said, wait a minute. She was sending texts. I wasn't involved.
You're invited too, Kyle.
No, he's not. He's not in the group chat.
Simone and I hung out on Sunday.
Don't
It's
do
fine.
that.
Oh, look at that.
For more than 75 minutes, I bet you.
Oh,
Yeah, about 90.
you guys are so petty. All of you.
Epic Airbnb says that it was a good joke. It was a bad delivery.
That's fair.
That might be
That's
right.
very accurate. Thank you.
Force is strong with this one.
That might be possible.
Excellent.
No, it wasn't.
It really wasn't. I don't even love that joke.
I don't know why she's doing this. To all of us, but especially me.
Oh, it's going to be a week. Oh,
All right,
it's going to be a week.
we'll get to Draymond Green in 10 minutes. But first, Ramie, are you mad about Netflix or disappointed in Netflix bringing back Titanic? Because this is kind of a thing with Simone.
No, that's very good timing.
Simone, you were up in
Quite
your feels
frankly.
about this, were you?
Why?
I just think it was quite a violent choice for them to
Little cold-hearted.
decide, yeah, to
Maybe
re-release
wait a month
that.
or so?
Yeah.
Strike while the iron's hot. Is
I
what
mean,
I say.
I bet a lot of people will be rewatching, no doubt.
There's interest in the Titanic right now, right?
You know how many times I've seen that movie?
How many?
Don't say
Zero.
Really?
No!
0 point. I know what
Really?
happened. I know the ending.
You know what? I respect
I
that.
don't need to watch it. What, I need to see Leo on the
That-
front of the ship
Yeah, it's not a great movie.
with Simone?
What do you
Oh,
mean it's
Simone.
not a
It's not-
great movie?
not a
I'm
great
about
movie.
to have an
Celine
aneurysm
Dion.
back here. You guys are saying so much wrong. Nick, you're so out of pocket for never seeing that movie, even for the
He's fine.
popularity.
Out
Like,
of pocket for not watching Titanic?
yes. It's a cultural phenomenon.
The ship went down.
Oh my God.
Yeah, cultural phenomenon 25 years ago.
They hit ice. It didn't go well. It didn't end well.
Yeah.
It's one of the most powerful romantic. Oh my God,
Oh
people
my
are groaning back here.
Yeah,
I'm turning
Verlad
off
just
my
gave a
mic.
visible oath back here.
I heard him in my ear. I don't know if everybody else heard.
It's one of the most powerful romantic storytelling
Did I ever
that's
tell
out
the
there.
story about when I saw Titanic on this show? I don't think I ever did.
No.
I didn't want to see it. Me and my friend, we were dating best friends, like these two girls that were best friends. We were like, we want to go see Titanic. We're like, all right, let's go. So we bought like 20 ounces of Coca-Cola and emptied out about 10 of those ounces and filled them up with.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something that wasn't Coca-Cola. And when that thing was going down and people were sliding across the deck, my friend and I were just laughing.
Now that's terrible.
Yes.
Now that's awful.
I love that for you so much.
And nobody was pleased, not our dates. Not the rest of the people in the theater.
So you're saying you might have upset a few people?
Yeah.
As you chuckled through Titanic.
I wish I had been there for that because I would have been laughing with you.
Celine Dion. Oh! And Ramie's like, ah!
Shame on you. Shame on you. And I would have been weeping right next to you.
I mean,
Shame on you.
I mean, cackling.
Uncontrollable laughter.
Watching the scene with the old people in the bed and Ramie's just like falling over on the floor.
It was one of those things where, one of us starts laughing and then the other one, and then it snowballs.
I could not imagine if Simone was in that theater, she would have jumped over rows of chairs
No
to
doubt.
drop kick you in the head.
No doubt in my mind or heart. Would have dumped popcorn on you.
Your heart would have gone on.
It was a compromise. We were like, we'll go, but
very, very dramatic movie.
Did you laugh when Leo was sinking to the bottom? Spoiler alert, Nick.
The chances are yes.
They all sank.
Not true.
No, they didn't. Yep.
25% survival rate.
Well,
that ain't bad.
No, that's really bad.
Could have been a lot better. They were pushing people off rescue boats. It was a whole thing.
75% sunk.
Yeah.
Including Leo, because you knew Leo had to sink. It wouldn't have been as romantic or dramatic if he survived.
It could have been beautiful. They would have lived their life together.
There was room
being
on that
adventurous
door.
And
there was room on that door.
Good to know that you set your expectations low, Simone. 25% is a successful endeavor.
for how catastrophic it was, that 25 is more than I thought. I thought only I don't know.
No,
7% got off or something. Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't think so.
Like, not to bore people, but the story is because it was 4 times bigger than any other ship, they legally only had to keep 25% of the lifeboats, and then 25% of the people survived because they just had empty spots where lifeboats were supposed to be.
So what we've learned is greed.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
Greed.
Yeah. Been killing people for a long time.
This seems like a cash grab.
Tops on the list of kills. Yeah.
You know,
this really spun out of control.
Now, this might just be something I saw on Twitter that turns out not to be true.
Oh, I love this game.
I know, my ears are perked up.
The woman piloting or captaining the now
definitely not piloting.
They weren't
flying.
The submersible that just blew up.
Yes.
And the reason that Netflix is re-releasing the Titanic. Her grandparents.
Weren't they controlling it with a joystick?
And I thought it was all guys.
I think it was a woman, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Okay.
His or her grandparents were on the Titanic.
No, you're joking.
No, for real.
That's like a butt crack. You've gotten God.
Ramie's missing a couple details, but the story is correct.
What?
It's the great-great-granddaughter of someone who's married to a person who died.
And she just died down there as well?
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, someone she's related to died on there. Not her specifically.
Since we're talking about catastrophic events, shout out to Sully. He saved them all.
The pilot?
Yeah, he's the MVP.
Here, I have it right
We're
here.
talking about catastrophic events and how bad things can happen. He saved everybody.
I appreciate it.
That's a 100% survival rate, Simone.
I love it.
I have my facts straight. The wife of Stockton Rush, the pilot of the missing Titanic tour submarine, is allegedly the great-great-granddaughter of 2 first-class passengers who died in the Titanic.
Allegedly.
If they died, how can you be the granddaughter?
Because they had children before they got on the boat.
Oh,
Simone,
okay.
And survived them.
I received that. I'm going to go ahead and pipe down.
That just happened.
Because it wasn't Noah's Ark.
That right there just happened. But they died. How did they have kids?
I'm sorry.
Simone's dying if that was
No.
Wow.
I was really ready to go there.
That was
because
amazing.
It reminds me a lot of Wakanda. And then he had said, like, oh, my ancestors got off the ships. And I was like, how does that work? I don't know.
Listen to this. Isidore,
Do I have to?
Isidore and Ida Strauss were notable figures who co-founded Macy's, and a fictionalized version of the couple is even featured in the movie.
Yeah, that was the joke I made earlier about you laughing on the ground in the theater as the two old people are in the bed.
Wow.
Draymond Green talk next.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
Over there.
are statistically
It's still alive.
unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants, like lemongrass and geraniol, and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem. Rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
But do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical pool, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2, brought to you by Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, E2 Family Winery, and Hyatt Vacation Club.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Keep it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines. I'm Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings wasted no time over the weekend pursuing EuroLeague MVP and Olympiacos star Sasha Vezenkov. Sacramento has officially offered Vezenkov an NBA contract worth part of their $12.4 million mid-level exception after clearing significant cap space last week by trading center Richaun Holmes and the 24th pick to the Mavericks. Speaking of assets, the Atlanta Hawks are sending John Collins to the Utah Jazz, sources told ESPN on Monday. The trade creates a $25 million trade exception for the Hawks, the largest in the NBA. The Hawks are acquiring Rudy Gay and a future second-round pick for Collins. Atlanta has a year to potentially exercise the exception, and the trade cannot become finalized until next Thursday. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Welcome back into Cattles and Ramie.
Cattles and Ramie.
Cattles and Ramie. Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports.
All right, so Draymond Green is an unrestricted free agent. He opted out of his contract with the Warriors, and there's been a lot of talk about Draymond Green. And there's been a lot of chatter about Draymond Green possibly being a Sacramento King. And I'll tell you, I was sitting back reading and watching and listening to all of this. Late last week, over the weekend, just nonstop, Draymond Green makes a lot of sense for the Sacramento Kings talk. One example was from our buddy Brian Windhorst on ESPN. Here's what he had to say last Friday.
Okay, I want to go back to the Kings.
You got to figure out what's going on in Sacramento.
And Pelton, give Pelton credit here. Pelton mentioned this. Mike Brown is extraordinarily close to Draymond Green. Extraordinarily close. Mike Brown was the Draymond Green whisperer with the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond Green is a free agent. They now have the money if they want to give him a premium over what he opted out of in Golden State.
Okay.
Now, I do believe that Draymond wants to be a Warrior. And I do believe that the trade for Jordan Poole today puts the Warriors in good position to be able to keep their books in a fashion where they can keep Draymond and keep Klay Thompson if they both sign contracts that are pay cuts or at least mildly flat to where they are. But the Kings can now go hunting for Draymond Green if they wish. And that would be extraordinarily interesting because it is the exact type of player that they need, and there's already a be interesting with Sabonis. That would be interesting first practice.
Yeah, the fans would have to do something.
That would
change
be an
their opinion.
extraordinarily interesting situation. Holy Moses!
Extraordinarily. Holy Moses.
Sleepy Windhorst.
Very breathless, yeah.
Holy Moses. All right. I'm going to try to not lose my mind here, but it might be difficult. Am I the only one that doesn't see Draymond Green as a great fit for this team? Am I the only one? I feel like I'm in a forest of people that are telling me how great Draymond Green would be for this team.
I think it could work.
Offensively, this team would be a train wreck. A train wreck. Did we not just see what the Warriors did against Domas in the playoffs? Did we not just see a completely hesitant Domantas Sabonis continue to not pull the trigger on 15 to 18-foot jump shots? How in the world, unless you're telling me you're changing the entire system, you're changing the entire offense, you're changing the entire coaching staff, how in the world does Draymond Green, Domas, and De'Aaron Fox, three guys who are historically well below average shooting the three ball, how do those three guys fit within an offensive system that wants to take as many threes as humanly possible?
Because you still have Keegan Murray and Kevin Huerter on the floor.
Okay, great.
And
you've got two guys.
And Draymond's three-point shooting has taken a turn for the worst, but it's not. Is it that far below league average? I didn't see what he said.
They're not good three-point shooters.
Okay.
None of those three guys are good.
But if you
know what's going to happen? If you had Draymond Green and Domas out there on the floor, you know what's going to happen? Every defense is going to sink back and tell those guys, you know what? Shoot. And then you know what's going to happen then? Now you clog the paint and you impact De'Aaron Fox's ability to get downhill because now he's got extra bodies to deal with. I don't understand how a completely, inept, for the most part, three-point shooter would make sense within this offensive structure. I have no idea how that would work. People keep telling me, because Draymond can pass. Great, you already have Domas. Domas plays the Draymond Green role in this offense. You don't need two Draymond Greens. The Warriors don't even need two Draymond Greens. And they've got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, two of the best shooters we've ever seen shoot the ball. How does that offense work? How does it work? Draymond Green, losing athleticism, never a great athlete to begin with, relatively speaking, within the world of the NBA. You have 3 guys out there that can't shoot the ball consistently from distance. Teams will just sit back and say, shoot, go ahead. I'm going to give you every 18-foot jump shot in the world to both Domas and Draymond Green. And that allows you to play extra coverage on De'Aaron Fox, and extra coverage on Keegan if you need it, and extra coverage on Kevin Huerter. I don't know how this dude fits offensively. Yeah, he can pass the ball. Absolutely. He absolutely can pass the basketball. But he's not a very good shooter.
Weren't we saying throughout that series that they relied too heavily on the 3 and that they needed to attack the rim a little bit more? I think Domas has it in him to do more work around the rim. He just wasn't doing. And when he did during that series, he was able to do some serious damage to the Warriors for entire halves, an entire game at a time. And I think that if you have somebody else who can do what he does as far as run the offense and distribute the ball and sort of be the hub that the offense goes through, that frees up Domas to go and do a little bit more work around the rim when you need it.
The worst thing to me, and I said this going back weeks ago, when we first started talking about this offseason for the Kings, the worst thing the Kings can do, in my opinion, is to overpay an aging guy. Draymond Green is 33 years old. He is declining. He's not going to get better, folks. The worst thing you can do is throw $100+ million at somebody who is declining and is not a perfect fit for this team. If you're spending $35-40 million a year on a guy, he better be a perfect fit. He better be somebody that I look at and go, oh, makes sense, right? Mid-20s, going into his prime. He can shoot. He can play alongside Domas, Draymond Green. Every time I see this, I can't help but walk away, Ramie, thinking, this is 100% Draymond Green and Draymond Green's representatives and all of the people that are leaking this information. All they're doing is to try to drive up the price for Draymond Green.
More bidders.
All of this. If you're going to pick one team in the NBA, let's say, if I'm right, I'm speculating here. I might even call it an educated guess. But let's say you're Draymond or you're Draymond's people. Is Sacramento not the perfect place to throw out there and say, oh, well, Mike Brown, best friend.
Yeah, John Hollinger was connecting those dots.
BFFs,
has a couple of times at the Athletic. Yeah.
Because you're going, wait a minute. Who did the Warriors just beat in 7 games in the first round? Who is 90 minutes, 2 hours away? So Draymond wouldn't have to dramatically change his lifestyle or totally uproot his family. Who has the coach that Draymond has a history with? This is so easy for Draymond Green and company to throw the Sacramento Kings out there as a
I wouldn't
bait.
be surprised if that was happening. But, I mean, the dots people are connecting, whether by the urging of Draymond and his people or not, the dots people are connecting are there, and they do make sense on a certain level, Nick. When you look at the cap money freed up, Mike Brown being the Draymond whisperer, as people have termed him. I mean, the connections and the dots are there for people to put together. I don't think it's that crazy for folks to jump to those conclusions or to start to jump to those conclusions.
I don't think it's crazy.
Especially in NBA free agency.
I don't think it's crazy. I just want to know the fit. Like I just when the Kings hired Mike Brown and they brought in Jordi Fernandez and we broke down those hirings, right? We broke down that coaching staff. And I kept saying this because this was pre-Ramie. It was before the draft last year. They obviously brought Brown in before the draft and all that stuff. And I remember when we were talking about it on the show, I laid it out for everybody and said, Mike Brown, Jordi Fernandez, the Kings are going to run their offense through Domas. Mike Brown has an incredible history with Draymond Green, a big running offense through him. Jordi comes from Denver with Nikola Jokic. That's what makes sense. Running the offense through Domas with your head coach and your lead assistant having a tremendous amount of history and knowledge about running an offense through a big. You don't need 2 bigs to run your offense through. Like, this is De'Aaron Fox and Domas. That's what this offense is. You're going to run your offense through those actions. You put another non-shooter out there. I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea at all. And I see a lot of people, again, and they might see it differently than me, and they might have some kind of take that I haven't thought of. Certainly, I don't think of everything. I don't know everything. Far from it.
What?
But I see a lot of people that I respect.
What are you doing here?
And appreciate basketball opinions. I appreciate their opinions about the sport, and they are even kind of saying, "Oh, Draymond." I don't get it. I fundamentally don't get it from a basketball standpoint. I really don't. And, I know all the things that he brings to the table, and he does bring plenty of things to the table. But he's not the defender that he once was. He's not going to be the defender that he once was as he ages. His best skill is a skill that you get from Domas. Like, yeah, he's got histrionics and stuff. He revs up the other team and all that.
Step on somebody's chest if you need him to.
I can get a guy for $10 million who will step on chests. I don't need to pay a guy $35 million to run around and cut wrestling promos.
I don't want to step on anybody's chest, but for $10 million.
Fun podcast.
Show me the chest.
He's stomping on that like Michael Flatley. I'd be going crazy. I don't get it. Maybe somebody else out there gets it. Maybe they disagree with me. And if you do, feel free. Send us a text. Give us a call. 1-916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. YouTube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Do you think Draymond Green is this great fit for this team? I don't. I do not think, and I didn't even touch all the off-the-court stuff. Just on the court, I don't get the fit. But maybe I'm the guy that's all alone in this forest. I don't know. 916-339-1140. Also, again, 1-800-920-1140. Your thoughts on Draymond Green and the Kings is a fit to you. Also, we'll sneak in some Kyle Shanahan thoughts and whether or not he's already eyeing a replacement for Brock Purdy. It's coming up.
Get all the latest 49ers news heading into the 2023 season on Sactown Sports.
I think Brock was smart, and we kind of facilitated that he met with a bunch of different surgeons. The hope is he's ready for the regular season. We'll take it as it comes, as we're doing. He's working incredibly hard, and the early returns are really good.
Sactown Sports, Sacramento's official home for 49ers football.
It's almost the 4th of July, and you know what that means. One of the biggest grilling parties you can throw all year. It's Nick Cattle suggesting you celebrate your 4th of July the right way with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Our Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned us into pros. Napoleon grills are all made with premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Go to Napoleon.com for your nearby Napoleon Grills dealer. Napoleon Grills, now is the time for the best selection of grills and fine accessories. Get ready for the 4th of July.
Prestige line comes with a lifetime warranty.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kip Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kip Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Live and local in the afternoon.
They always keep you on edge.
Cattles
And Ramie
on Sactown Sports.
Zachy. That's how I would pronounce his name. Zachyy. Zachy. On the YouTube chat. YouTube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. In a perfect world, Monty works his magic. He signs Cam Johnson, Rui Hachimura, and Mason Plumlee. Woo!
That's a lot.
It's a lot of magic. It's also a lot of money that the Kings don't have. Cam Johnson's going to cost you like 25 to 30 million.
There isn't like a second room exception?
No.
There's like a basement exception?
It's the, wait a minute, we have more exception? Fox, Herter, Johnson, Rui, Sabonis, Mitchell, Monk, Edwards, Lyles, Plumlee. Look, I love Cam Johnson. He's near the tops of my list as guys that I'd go after. I like Rui Hachimura. I like that deal for the Lakers when a lot of people were pooping on it, telling me Rui Hachimura is not a good player. There were a lot of people going, oh, Rui's not going to make that much of a difference. Played pretty well in my eyes. In the playoffs, he was pretty dependable. Plumlee, I talked about Plumlee last year at the deadline.
Yeah, you were all over that.
I'm a fan of Plumlee as well. But you just don't have enough to bring all those guys in.
What if we use the mid-level bonus trade draft exception clause?
Now you're confusing.
There's always that.
To drive them off the road. The one thing about Cam Johnson, too, that you got to think about. I saw somebody tweet about this earlier. I don't remember who it was, but somebody tweeted it was a great point. Cam Johnson, he's restricted. So if you go after somebody like that, and this happened with like Zach LaVine, right, years ago. They signed him to an offer sheet, and then LaVine, whoop, see you later. Didn't work out. Well, when you sign, say you want Cam Johnson, right? If he's theoretically, hypothetically, Cam Johnson is Monty McNair's apple of the eye. He loves Cam Johnson, wants Cam Johnson, is ready to pay Cam Johnson. You have to offer Cam Johnson a ton of money, which you certainly can do. But you also have to wait like 3 days for the Nets to say, we're going to match that or not.
Right.
And as you're sitting there for 3 days, guess what's happening?
Market's drying up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys are signing elsewhere. So if you're going to offer a ton of money to Cam Johnson, you best know that Cam Johnson is going to be a King.
Right.
Because if you swing and miss, you might have just swung and missed on several guys because other guys are talking and working on deals with other teams. So if your plan B, you might not be able to get to plan B if you're sitting there for 3 days and then the Nets say we're going to match. You might not get to C, D, E, or F. So that's the one thing about Cam. I love Cam Johnson. Love myself some Cam Johnson. I just, that's a big risk. If you don't land him, then you have all of this cap space and you might not have been able to use any of it. This also happened while I was gone. Patrick Donaldson chatted into the YouTube chat about Herter and Murray saying they both shot 40 or 41% from three. What do you think about the Warriors picking up CP3? He'll turn 39 later this year. Well, I was not a big fan of the CP3 trade for the Warriors. I might end up totally wrong, and it wouldn't be the first time. But defensively, that team is going to stink. Like if their plan, I was driving around listening to Mark Spears last week, right when that trade was made. And Spears said that the plan for the Warriors is that CP3 is going to start. He's not going there to come off the bench. And that they're going to go ultra small. So you'd go CP3, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green would be your five.
Oof.
That team's going to get roasted defensively. Yes. Roasted. Steph Curry playing two guards and wings?
Yeah. No, they're going to be drastically undersized.
CP3 is not the same guy he was defensively as he was years ago. Again, he's 39 years old. I think Chris Paul will understand the situation.
I didn't get that trade when they made it either, Nick.
I don't
understand it.
Because some people will say, oh, well, he's always been the guy. It's always been his team, which is true. Like Chris Paul hasn't been the best player on his team all the time. But Chris Paul has a very dominating personality. And there is the argument, and I think you have to at least think about this if you're Mike Dunleavy. There is the argument that if you have CP3 and you bring back Draymond Green, that's a lot of headspace in that locker room.
And they don't like each other.
They're dominating personality.
Some audio surfaced after the trade from Draymond's podcast of him saying, I don't like CP3. Like, this isn't some WWE type thing or some competitive fire that just, like, him and LeBron are good friends. You know what I mean? We've seen incidents between Draymond and LeBron on the court. They're good friends. They hang out. They go to each other's weddings and stuff like that. He straight up does not like CP3, and I think the feeling is mutual. So we'll see how that turns out.
Neither does Steph Curry, too. It's been public for years. People have said, like, Steph is one of the nicest people in the world and also really hates Chris Paul.
Really just doesn't like Chris Paul.
See, I heard that they kind of grew up and knew each other a little bit. Thought I heard Mark Spears talk about that they know each other pretty
Steph
well.
and CP3.
Yeah, that they know each other pretty well.
Yeah, they're both Carolina boys.
And they have a pretty good relationship. That was what Mark Spears had said that I heard during the interview. I don't know. But I don't have any doubt that Steph will subjugate his ego. And if he thinks it's best for the team, he will do it. He did it for Kevin Durant. He will do it. He will, he'll change his game a little bit. He'll modify it a little bit. But that's a small team, man. And it's very interesting, right? Because you look at the two teams in the finals, what was the common link? Both those teams were pretty big. And Denver's huge. So it looks like the league is starting to trend towards big, skilled players. And that trade for CP3 goes in the exact opposite direction for the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it might work out. Mike Dunleavy might look like a genius, but it's fascinating to go small, older, and more injured. And that's what they did. Can Chris Paul even make it through a season? I mean, you've got Clay, who has an injury history. Paul has a big injury history. Curry has a big injury history.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I mean, that could end up being a mess in that kind of situation. Text line 916-339-1140. I asked you, maybe you could tell me why Draymond Green's a fit. Draymond grabs rebounds and plays defense, which is something the Kings need. I also don't think anyone is advocating paying Draymond $35 to $40 million. Well, here's the deal, man. You're going to have to pay him more than $30 million a year. I don't know if anybody, I don't know how many people are advocating for it actively, but if you want the player, you got to pay the market.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's been a while since the Kings have had this kind of cap space. This is how it works. If you want a guy, you got to pay the guy. Like Draymond, if he goes back to the Warriors, have no issue paying Draymond $25 to $30 million a year. No issue whatsoever. No issue whatsoever. He's not going to leave Golden State for a couple of extra $1 million, folks. If he's serious about leaving Golden State, you're going to have to pay him $5 to $7 million a year, probably above what Golden State's willing to pay him. So if Golden State's willing to pay him around $30 million, you better be ready to offer about $35 million a year for Draymond Green. You're not getting Draymond Green at $20 million a year. It's not happening.
I think John Hollinger in his top 25 free agents article, and he put a value on each guy. I think he had him in the mid 20s. I think it was 24 or 25. And he said the deal would probably start in the $21 million range and then escalate over the years, get up to about 27 and average 24 over the course of it. So
I still think there are much better fits out there than Draymond Green for 20 to 25 million.
I said he wasn't at the top of my list, but I also wouldn't be upset if that's who they ended up with.
And look, maybe I'm wrong, but I think Draymond is going to be able to get about 25 from Golden State, which means you're going to have to go up to around 30 at least for Draymond. You might pay a little bit under that, maybe give or take $1 million, but you're looking at around $30 million a year, I think, to get him. And that would not excite me. That would not excite me. I don't think that's we added Draymond Green, now watch out. Because, again, I don't think he's a great fit offensively for this team, especially with what they want to do. Not just the money, it's the fit. Not just the age, it's the fit. Not just the attitude, it's the fit. A lot of things to me against that signing. He'd be way down at the bottom. I don't even have him on the page, honestly.
He's on my list. Not at the top, but he's on my list.
He didn't make it. I hate to tell him. I'm sure he's crushed by that.
Yeah, he's devastated.
I'm sure Draymond will lose sleep.
He's
that
not
he did
even
not
come
make
for the
list.
visit.
No chance to leverage Sacramento.
Sorry, Dre, if I can call you Dre. Sorry, buddy.
Money Green.
He lost to Cattle's vote. That's it. I knows it's not
It's
gonna
crushing.
happen. Yeah.
All the things he's had to go through in his
Here
career.
he is trying to drive up the market, and you're just hacking him off at the knees.
I shut him down.
Yeah, you did.
This might rock him. He might never be the same guy after hearing this.
Yeah.
Good.
Might shut down the podcast.
I'm fine with that.
Just never talk again.
Keith Smith joins us to discuss what should be a crazy week in the NBA coming up next.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento. And I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 74 years. Look for made in America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
The Gold Rush Classic takes place July 13th and 14th in Rancho Murrieta. Come join the fun and play golf with a celebrity, or just check out the concert. The Gold Rush Classic, where the stars and guitars shine. For more info, go to goldrushclassic.org.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Sactown Sports.
I'm Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings wasted no time over the weekend pursuing EuroLeague MVP and Olympiacos star Sasha Vezenkov. Sacramento has officially offered Vezenkov an NBA contract worth part of their $12.4 million mid-level exception after clearing significant cap space last week by trading center Richaun Holmes and the 24th pick to the Mavericks. Speaking of assets, the Atlanta Hawks are sending John Collins to the Utah Jazz, sources told ESPN on Monday. The trade creates a $25 million trade exception for the Hawks, the largest in the NBA. The Hawks are acquiring Rudy Gay and a future second-round pick for Collins. Atlanta has a year to potentially exercise the exception, and the trade cannot become finalized until next Thursday. Keith Smith joins Cattles and Ramie right now. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Welcome back in.
With you 1 mile at a time during the afternoon drive. Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports.
All right, let's head to the phones, and joining us right now on the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline, Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, is our friend Keith Smith from Spotrac and the Front Office Show. Keith, thank you for joining us. It is much appreciated, my friend. A very busy week coming up here, but let's start with the news today. John Collins finally traded from the Hawks for almost nothing. Your thoughts on what Utah's putting together down there, Keith?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out from the Jazz's side. They've obviously got one of the bigger front courts. They've got Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen, and you're adding John Collins to that group. I know some people have thought it's weird, with Markkanen already there, but he has mostly played the three the last 2 seasons between Cleveland and Utah, and that's what they envision him as. So they're going to have a very big front line, pretty good front line too, especially if Collins can rediscover his shot. He shot well his first 5 years and then really fell off last year after a finger injury. So that gets right and his shot comes back. That's going to be a really nice pickup for the Jazz, who still have about $28 million in cap space to spend even after acquiring Collins.
You know, the Richaun Holmes types of moves that we saw the Kings make on draft night, that's not unusual. We've been seeing that for a long time of teams trying to just dump salary and guys who aren't living up to those contracts. But this John Collins deal, along with Bradley Beal, the second deal in about a week, where quality players are getting traded, and it seems like just to get the contract off the books. With this new CBA, are we going to see more and more of that, Keith?
Yeah, we absolutely are. I mean, this is the new CBA in play in that second tax apron, which I like to call the super tax, coming in play. It's really going to hammer those most expensive teams because you're so limited if you're over that amount. This year, they gave everybody kind of the grace period. The intention was get your stuff in order, right? Shed some salary, bring your salary down. And then you had teams like the Phoenix Suns who said, that sounds good. Let's go right past it and use this grace period year to add a whole bunch of salary for the last time. So it really is, an interesting kind of messy situation where the league is trying to induce parity by bringing the expensive teams down, the less expensive teams up. But, some of these teams, as long as they're willing to pay those penalties and they feel like they can fill out their rosters through minimum signings, draft picks, re-signing their own guys, they're going to keep doing it. So we're going to see, how this all plays out over the span of the next couple of years.
Keith Smith with us here, Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports. Keith's from Spotrac in the front office show. Keith, Damian Lillard had a meeting today with Portland between he and his agent. Does he finally ask out, Keith?
I have no idea what's going to happen there. I don't know that anybody does. It's starting to feel like we've all been friends with that couple where it's like all they do is like they don't want to be together anymore and everybody kind of knows it, but neither one wants to be the bad guy and end it. Right? That's what it feels like with Portland and Portland and Damian Lillard rather. At this point, it feels like they're kind of in this spot where it's like, I don't want to be the one to ask out of this, and everybody will hate me. And it's like, well, no, I think we'd all rather we just move on and let this stop being a thing. So it's just, we're a decade into this. Hasn't really worked out. I think now would be the time if there's any. They have Scoot Henderson. They have Shaedon Sharp. They could really pull the trigger on a full-scale rebuild and be in pretty good place. But, until Damian Lillard probably says, I want out, I don't know that Portland's going to be the ones to say, we're sending you out of here.
I saw in your article over at Spotrac.com the list of cap space teams, and Sacramento Kings smack dab in the middle with just over $35.5 million. But what separates them from all the teams around them, both above and below, is they're a playoff team, Keith. We're talking about the third seed in the Western Conference with $35.6 million. Obviously, that's not the norm. They're the only playoff team in that group this year. On a year-to-year basis, how unusual is it for a team that finishes as high as the third seed to be among the leaders in cap space?
Yeah, it's pretty unusual. Normally that happens if some young team comes to prominence way earlier than expected, and it's a team that's like loaded down with rookie scale contracts and the like. Then we'll see that every once in a while. Boston got there a few years back, where they had a bunch of cap space, and it was because they just didn't have any long-term big salaries on their books. So for the Kings to be there now, to be clear, to get to that number, it means renouncing Harrison Barnes, and we'll find out. Are they going to do that, or they're not going to do that? What's that going to look like? Are they going to bring him back on a lower number and still have money to spend? We'll find that all out here over the last couple of days. But what I've been saying to everybody is, you don't just move Richaun Holmes just to move him with the idea of, let me rephrase, without the idea of something you might be able to do, by creating that kind of cap space. So that's going to be what's really interesting to see what the Kings have planned here over the next several days.
Keith Smith is with us here on the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Keith, there have been some rumblings around here about Kyle Kuzma, and the thought is he might get as much as $30 million a year. Could you see that happening, or is that going to be a little too high for him?
It feels like a little high. I don't know that it'll get to 30, but I think he may get somewhere north of 25. What's important that everybody remembers is you hear $25 million or you hear $100 million. over 4 years, something in that range. And all of a sudden, everybody kind of goes to, oh my God, that's way too much money for player X. But that's not reframing where the salary cap has gone and where it's headed to. Pretty soon, $25 million is going to be, a fifth of the salary. I mean, we're already there. It's already less than a fifth of the cap. Pretty soon it'll be about a sixth and then eventually an eighth. I mean, the cap is only continuing to rise. So we're going to see this turn into something here where all of a sudden, like guys like Kuzma are getting these bigger deals than what people are used to. It always takes a little bit. Over on Spotrac, what we've done is we've added percentage of cap to every single salary to help, hopefully, as people look at that, it reframes their thinking a little bit.
When you look at the free agent market and you look at the money that the Kings freed up, a lot of people are connecting the dots of Draymond Green and the Sacramento Kings, much to the chagrin of my co-host, Nick. Does that equation add up to you, Keith?
I mean, I get it, right? And that happens every year at this time of year. People start looking for, his old coaches there, or an owner, or a GM, or teammates, or his best friend from kindergarten is playing on that team, and those kind of things. And it's sometimes there's truth to it, right? Sometimes we do see guys follow people to other teams, but then other times we land in a spot where that doesn't really. It's not really a thing, right? Where these guys are, kind of in a spot where it's like, hey, it's, better off where I am. I tend to think Draymond Green, he was always going to opt out because at the end of the day, he wants to add more years and guaranteed money to his contract. And I tend to think he's going to look at it with the Warriors and say to himself, hey, my best bet is to just keep this thing running. The Warriors are going to do the same. My guess is it ends up a 3-year contract to align him with Stephen Curry, and they both chase titles right to the end together.
Keith, Naz Reid was a name that I was looking at for the Kings. Made a lot of sense to me. His fit alongside Domas. He stays in Minnesota now, about $14 million a year. What's this do to the big man market this week?
Yeah, it's going to be a little messy for sure. There are some other options out there. We'll see who wants to move out of guys like Brook Lopez, Nikola Vucevic, and a handful of guys a little further down, guys like Dwight Powell and the like Christian Wood. So we'll see. There's definitely going to be movement that still happens in the big man market, but it's not a great free agent class across the board. And there's been this sense around the league of unless you have a really good center or one that really fits a specific need for you, you need a stretch five, or you need a rim protector, ideally a combination of the two, or a rebounder, or whatever it is. You don't pay them. You just let that be a position where, we'll snag somebody at the minimum or just above, and we keep it moving. So we're going to see, how that comes together here. But it's not a bad center class, but it's not a great one either.
How shaky is the situation in Philadelphia? And if they don't get it right this year, their relationship with Joel Embiid moving forward?
Yeah, it's going to get super messy coming up here, because what's going to happen is I think you're going to see if they lose James Harden, if the team takes a major step back and it doesn't seem like they have a great way out of it or something, I think what you're going to see happen is then Joel Embiid is going to start asking questions, and he'll be like, the next guy, much like, we've seen, several others. He'll be the next guy to kind of say, hey, maybe it's time for me to go somewhere else too. And he'll be approaching that decade period of time, with the Sixers and the like. So that's going to be really interesting to watch that play out too, because we generally tend to get to these points where stars are content to stay where they are as long as they're contending. But the minute the contention starts to go away, then they're ready to move on.
His name is Keith Smith, Spotrac front office show as well on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Keith, always great to have you on. It's going to be a very busy, fun week. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. There goes Keith Smith with some great stuff. So look, Kyle Kuzma, Keith says maybe not $30 million a year, maybe a little bit lower than that, but mid to high 20s probably will get there. Draymond Green, Keith thinks that Green is going to stick with the Warriors on probably a 3-year deal to align with Steph Curry's timeline, which is also interesting. And the big man market is something that I think we all got to pay attention to, because I think all of us agree that the Kings need more depth at that position, and who's going to be available and how much is that person going to be asking for. Naz Reid off the market, that's going to have the trickle-down effect. So we'll see how all that shakes out, but I think it's going to be a very, very busy week. Very, very busy.
You think?
Yeah.
NBA free agency week?
Yeah.
Busy?
Probably a good bet, Ramie.
I don't know.
Probably a good bet. All right, well, we're going to overreact on this Monday coming up next.
The Kings season might be over, but Sactown sports coverage never stops.
It's probably one of the best starting points I could have had, starting in the NBA, Sacramento.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Pain is not normal. Repeat, pain is not normal. Greetings, Sacramento. Doug Christie here with the Good Feet store. Does this sound familiar? It's the end of the workday, and the pain in your feet, knees, hips, or back is unrelenting. Good Feet understands that you've likely already tried assorted remedies and solutions with no relief. And now you're pretty much resigned to living with the pain. But do not give in to the pain. Instead, come to the Good Feet store for their end-to-end 3-step arch support system. Good Feet is the nation's largest manufacturer and retailer of personalized arch supports. With arch supports in over 300 sizes, styles, and flexibilities, and an arch support specialist in each store. Come in today for a free no-obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk around the store or around the center. Experience the comfort, balance, and support possible with the Good Feet system. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now in Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton & Price in your corner. When you call Ashton & Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real-life person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Oh, God, he's back.
Who's back?
The clown.
The naked one?
Yes, Giggles. He just drove on the lot in a new Kia.
What, does he want to trade it in?
No, he wants to show it off.
God, isn't he showing off enough? Oh, here he comes.
See what Elk Kia did for me? That's service. That's why they got my business, not you.
I think we've already seen too much of your business. Thank you.
Elk Grove Kia, great service for everyone.
Elk Grove Kia has never made it easier for you to show it off. Like the hottest all-electric EV in the market, the luxurious EV6. Save big with lease specials of $10,000 below MSRP. Not just one or two, but every EV6 in stock. Don't worry about credit. No credit, bad credit, charge-offs, repos. Don't worry. Our team has over 100 years of experience. Others say no. Elk Grove Kia says yes. Get your EV6 today at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or elkgrovekia.com and show it off today.
Elk Grove Kia.
Listen to Oakland A's baseball on the weekends all season long right here on Sactown Sports, beginning with the pregame show brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. The city of Sacramento offers rebates to help with your outdoor water saving projects this season. Rebates are available for landscape conversions, smart controllers, and irrigation upgrades that improve your water efficiency. Learn more at sacwaterwise.com.
It's Monday, and we all have an opinion on what happened.
Let's get a reaction.
Are you ready to crown a champ yet?
That team's unbelievable. It's the best team I've seen in years.
Has your favorite team thrown in the towel?
They're horrible.
Overreaction Monday.
All right, let's get to our overreactions on this Monday. Thanks for being with us as always. I'll start off. So this past weekend, Ramie, will be the last time that'll be outside for like the next 3 months. Because if you haven't seen the weather for this weekend, it's going to be up to like 105 on Saturday. So
absurd.
I was outside Saturday and Sunday.
And
told the wife.
That'll be it.
Yeah, told the wife, we got to get this in now because it's fixing to be about 105 for the next month and a half, 2 months.
What if I invited you over for a pool day? That's too hot for a pool day?
Does the pool have shade over it? Does it have some kind of...
Yeah, for most of the day it does. From like 11 to 2, it's just all sun. It's all in the sun. But then, like, you know, the way the sun moves over the building. Yeah, you can find shade on one side of the pool.
As long as there's a little bit of shade and as long as nobody gets weirded out that I wear a shirt when I'm in the pool. Because,
in the pool?
Yeah, because my body...
In the water?
My body doesn't do well, dude. I will burn.
What do you...
I will burn.
Even in the water?
Yes.
You can't burn underwater.
Yes, you can. I've done it.
Of course you can.
Well, I don't burn, so I don't know. I guess I'm speaking out of pocket here. Yeah, I don't
For
burn.
someone like me who burns easily, yeah.
Let the pasty people talk about how
it
getting
gets
burned
bad.
underwater.
I'd have to have a hat on. I'm like a 65-year-old dude. I got to have a hat on and a shirt on.
You know, when we were in Vegas, there was this dude at the pool who had on cargo shorts and a long-sleeved shirt. In the pool, and I was like, "Who is this?"
The long sleeve shirt's dramatic.
And he had on a bucket hat too. Like he wasn't going under. He wasn't submerging himself in the water. He was only going like up to his. But the long sleeve shirt, fully drenched. Is that because he didn't want to get sunburned? I thought he was just a weirdo.
I don't know. I don't know the man.
Underwater.
No,
I had no idea.
He is in fact a weirdo.
Okay.
But I also understand why.
Why do you think you don't get burned underwater?
I don't burn at all.
You think the water has like UV ray protection?
Yeah, I didn't know that the sun rays could penetrate.
We're all having our moment today. Okay, cool.
Could penetrate the water and burn your skin like that.
I was gonna say, is this just something I know because I grew up in San Diego? But no, Ramie's just being dumb.
I don't burn, so I don't know these things. Sunburn has never been something I really had to consider.
Well, yeah.
I just crisp up.
I get that. It's like you don't pay a ton of attention to it because you don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
But I have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Everyone should be wearing sunscreen, though.
That is true.
I should?
Yes, Ramie.
I thought that was just...
Dude, I've had like I've had blisters and stuff before.
Yeah, it's to prevent skin cancer. You do have to still wear sunscreen when you're melanated.
My skin, not a fan of the sun.
Huh.
Even though I have some Italian in me and all that, still not a fan of the sun.
See, I sweat a lot. I might get a headache, but sunburn, like actual painful sunburn, never been a thing.
Oh, man.
Never been a thing.
I've had some bad.
But I should wear sunscreen still, huh?
Yes.
Dude, I had one when
everyone.
When I was younger, and I was on the All-Star team in baseball, and so it was in the middle. Not really. I have to include that it was the time of the year, Ramie.
Right.
And it'll make sense in a minute. So, you know, you're talking about like mid-August or whatever it is, like, you know, late July to mid-August. And it's brutal because I had to put like this lotion stuff on. And like, I literally had to have somebody put the jersey on me because it was awful. And I had to try to play baseball with like blisters and the worst burn of all time. Brutal.
Damn.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
But I didn't have it as bad as this other dude, Luke, on the team who passed out in left field.
Jesus.
Yeah, he had heat stroke.
Good
Lord.
Heat exhaustion. Playing at 125 degrees? Jeez.
Our coach was hardcore, man. He left us out there. We had to drag him into the...
I mean, if he plays outfield, he plays outfield. You can't get him out of the sun.
He just plot. It was practice.
Oh.
Imagine that, too. It was practice.
Wait, we're talking about practice?
Yeah, we're not even talking about a game.
We're talking about practice.
We ain't even talking about a game.
We're not even talking about a game.
No.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Practice.
Dude had heat exhaustion.
In practice.
Collapsed. We had to pull him into we had to, like, carry him to the
Not
dugout.
for a game.
Not for a game.
Not for the game he loves.
Not for a game.
No.
Not for the game he loves.
For practice.
For practice.
And, like, coach said keep it moving? Like, let's go through our drills?
Yeah, we kept it moving.
Oh, my God.
Hit the cutoff man.
I'm trying to remember his last. Why don't I remember his last? Oh, Luke Stedman was his name.
Franchise player.
His name was Luke Stedman, and he just right down. But like, we got to address that. Like, coach wasn't even.
He's
Coach
just
didn't even see
resting.
him.
He's just cooling off. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Not a good day for him.
Wow.
I mean, listen, we talking about practice.
We are.
Yeah. That's exactly what the coach was talking about. Wow. All right. When I made the All-Star game, I was fine. Just so we're clear.
Wow. Broke my finger playing in an All-Star game one time.
Is it time for my overreaction?
Sure.
All right.
Have at it.
Baseball's back, baby. Can we all agree? Baseball, not just America's pastime, but now the world's pastime, if we're being real about it. Cubs and Cardinals played a series in London. I didn't see it, but apparently there was some kind of performance by Jay-Z and Alicia Keys that had 2 billion impressions.
Why didn't you watch it?
On the social medias, because I wasn't getting up that early. I saw some of the game on Saturday. The game on Sunday started at 7 a.m. local time. And no. On Sunday, I ain't waking up at 7. And John Heyman tweeted this out today. MLB attendance is up 7.8% over last year. He says, got to think new rules are a big help. Surprise contenders can't hurt either. And I think when you look at both the American League and the National League, Nick, a lot of fan bases with dreams of postseason baseball dancing through their heads, like within striking distance of a wild card spot at the very least. And I think that does keep more people interested and more people coming out to the ballpark and turning on their TVs and their radios and whatnot. I was kidding about the thing over in London. That was stupid and they shouldn't have done that.
Oh.
But but here in America, people paying attention to the baseball again a little bit.
Baseball's popular again. Is that what you're telling me?
Back, baby.
Well, with teams in striking distance of the playoffs, I know you're not talking about you or my teams.
I mean, we're in striking distance.
Red Sox just good enough to float along and tread water at.
Wow, we're all in the same boat right now.
Yeah, just treading along.
The Giants too, yeah.
Red Sox, Giants, Cubs, and Padres all just treading water.
Right there.
We're heating up, though. We're heating up.
Just right there.
I'm Bloom, folks. I'm Bloom. I'll throw another one at you.
Throw another one at me, Nick.
Chris Paul is the final nail in the coffin of the Warriors dynasty.
Wow.
It's over.
Wow.
He is going to ruin it fully. Still think they might have like a year or two left until Chris Paul showed up. Now it's over. Just like the music behind us.
I thought this was an indication of one more year. Like they gave up on the whole transitioning dynasty.
Oh, I know what they think it's going to be.
Oh, so but you're saying
I'm giving it to the reality.
It's a wrap.
Nail in the coffin. It's over.
Yeah, I don't see it working, man.
Would it be great to see Steph Curry and Chris Paul get into a fight on the court?
That would be glorious.
Yeah.
That would be outstanding.
Yeah.
Or Draymond.
Steph's got the reach, I think, right?
Yeah, Draymond and Chris Paul, different weight classes.
No chance.
No chance.
No chance.
You know what? They're really going to try and get that CP like moment of him laughing at Kerr again. That's what they're really gunning for this year. You guys know what I'm talking about? No?
Oh, the fake laugh thing. Yeah,
yes,
that became
yes.
a GIF and
yes,
a meme.
They're going to
I
be
know what
all
you're
in
talking
it
about
this year.
I don't know what Kyle's talking about. My Cubs are 5.5 out of that second wild card spot.
Hey, there's
more than half a season left to play.
Treading water, baby.
That's nothing.
I know my Padres are lower than that, too.
They're 6.5 out. That's striking.
A lot of baseball left, Ramie.
That is striking distance.
A lot of baseball. Hey,
so
look,
much baseball left.
If the Red Sox were in the AL Central, they'd be in first place.
Yeah, that's a brutal.
So instead, they're in the AL East and in last place.
It's a brutal division. One game over 500. Minnesota Twins.
That division.
Are your division leaders.
Oh, my God.
I've been saying for 4 years they should disband the AL Central.
AL Central, AL East, brutal for
relegation.
Completely different reasons.
Yeah, it's the AFC South of baseball.
Wow.
NL Central for your Cubs, Ramie. Not much better, though.
No.
I mean, that's
but
why
Ellie De La Cruz, baby.
The Reds all of a sudden.
Overreaction. The Reds are going to win the National League.
The Reds
beautiful.
Probably going to win that division if they keep doing this.
They won 12 straight at one point, didn't they?
I think they're still on a 12-game winning streak, are they not?
No, it got snapped this weekend. I think they lost 2 in a row, too.
Oh.
So there's your
there's another overreaction. It's all
terrible.
over for the Reds.
They're terrible.
Sacramento, there's your Reds talk for the day. I know you were dying to get it. There it is.
Meanwhile, the Braves are on pace to win like 107 games and no one's paying attention to them.
Just moving right along, just mowing down. All right. Coming up next, would you pay Kyle Kuzma $30 million a year?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Apparently, there is a cage match brewing between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. Now, I hope this happens for many reasons. Number one, it just goes with the downfall of our society. Number two, nothing more fun than seeing super ultra mega billionaires just beat the hell out of each other. Number three, it would obviously be a terrible, terrible, terrible fight.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Did you know that money market accounts offer higher dividends than a traditional savings account, all while still being able to access your money at any time? Hey, Jason Ross here, and I want to tell you to step up your earning power with a Level Up money market savings account at Safe Credit Union. With competitive dividend rates, you can take your savings to the next level. Visit safecu.org/levelup for more information and to open up an account today. Insured by NCUA.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical pool, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2, brought to you by Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, E2 Family Winery, and Hyatt Vacation Club.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. At Elk Grove Honda, we include many benefits that a private seller just can't match. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection, and our certified pre-owned Hondas are under 5 years old. So you know you're getting the newest Hondas in prime condition. See our exceptional selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
I'm Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings wasted no time over the weekend pursuing EuroLeague MVP and Olympiacos star Sasha Vezenkov. Sacramento has officially offered Vezenkov an NBA contract worth part of their $12.4 million mid-level exception after clearing significant cap space last week by trading center Richaun Holmes and the 24th pick to the Mavericks. Speaking of assets, the Atlanta Hawks are sending John Collins to the Utah Jazz, sources told ESPN on Monday. The trade creates a $25 million trade exception for the Hawks, the largest in the NBA. The Hawks are acquiring Rudy Gay and a future second-round pick for Collins. Atlanta has a year to potentially exercise the exception, and the trade cannot become finalized until next Thursday. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Welcome back into Cattles and Ramie.
One brings Makloff magic, while the other, we're still trying to figure that out.
Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports.
Hour number 3 of this here radio program.
Already?
On a Monday. Wow. Big week. Big week. As we count down to NBA free agency coming up on Friday. Lots of rumors, lots of stuff. Going to be spread around, I'm sure. So we keep an eye on everything, or as much as we can, to help fill in some of the gaps that you might be looking to be filled. Because, again, there's just a lot of stuff being said. A lot of things happening. One of the things that are being said, that Kyle Kuzma's free agency market is going to be rather large, Ramie. And the Kings, as we know, they have about $36 million in cap space. That is if they renounce the rights to Harrison Barnes. If they keep HB's cap hold, then that number drops significantly. But if they do renounce HB's rights, they'll have about $36 million in space. And so a usually very busy time period as we head into NBA free agency is even that much busier because your Kings have a lot of cap space. Your Kings could do some damage. That Richaun Holmes trade on draft night was just so significant as far as what this team can do in this offseason. You've got a $7.7 million room exception. You have, again, about $36 million in cap space. You have the $12 million trade exception that you got from Dallas. Those are all tools. And I said this earlier in the show, when you combine all of those, you got like $55 million worth of players that you can acquire. That's a lot of talent. A lot of talent. And so Kuzma is being mentioned by many people out there as a possible fit with the Kings and as somebody who is likely going to make lots of money this offseason. Kuzma is expected to be one of the hottest names on the market. He said thanks, but no thanks to a $13 million player option he had with Washington. Matt Moore of the Action Network says whichever team hopes to land Kuzma will have to cough up a lot of money. Kuzma is eyeing, quote unquote, $30 million annually on his next contract. Now, interestingly enough, Moore adds that the Jazz and the Mavericks are among the teams that have interest in Kuzma. The Jazz are said to be one of the few teams willing to put up big money in various talks early on.
$1 million in cap space.
I would have to imagine that the Jazz are no longer interested in Kyle Kuzma. I would have to imagine that because they traded for John Collins today.
Probably a fair assumption.
I don't think you're going to start Kuzma, Collins, Kessler, and
Larry Markkinen at the 2.
Markkinen, all on the same team. You want to talk about big team? Utah's like, hey, we saw Denver. We're gonna take Denver. We're gonna trump Denver. We're gonna go even larger than you guys. So here's the thing, and I tweeted this today. So Matt Moore reports over the weekend that Kuzma and Utah are talking, and Utah seemingly is willing to throw the bag on the table for Kuzma. Then today, Utah trades for Collins. That would lead me to believe, Ramie, that Utah got word from Kuzma or Kuzma's reps that Kyle wasn't going to go to Salt Lake City, that Kuzma was not going to go play for the Jazz. And that led to the Jazz going with plan B, and they pivoted, and they traded for Collins, which begs the question, if you're the Kings, Ramie, you're sitting there right now looking at the list of free agents, list of cats that you can bring in here. Are you okay with the idea of paying Kyle Kuzma $30 million a year?
I don't love it, but I also wouldn't necessarily. I'm not going to sit here and say I wouldn't do it today, Nick. I think that we in free agency and drafts and as trade deadlines approach, we tend to get our hearts set and our sights set just on one or two guys. And if it's not those one or two guys, then we're disappointed if it's not the guy that we wanted. I'm trying to keep an open mind here, man. And when you look at the money, $30 million sounds like a lot. But when you look at today's NBA, that's kind of the market at this point for somebody the skill level of a Kyle Kuzma. The thing that I wonder about with him, it's not the $30 million. I know this sounds weird to say. The $30 million doesn't scare me off Kyle Kuzma. I know that seems like a huge price tag to some people for that guy. He's not a great three-point shooter. And you talked before about Draymond Green and how whoever you're going to bring in here, if they're going to be a good fit, they better know how to shoot the three, because the Kings are going to keep on letting it fly. And they've told us as much when we've talked to coaches.
Right.
But the other thing is, you look at Kyle Kuzma and defensively, when he was in LA with the Lakers and playing that 1 year with LeBron James, he had a 2.9 defensive win share. And ever since he went to Washington, it went down to 2, and then it went down to 1.9. And if you look at his early days in Los Angeles, when LeBron wasn't there yet, he wasn't a good defender there either. He seems to, not as good of a defender. He's still pretty good, but he seems to sort of fall into whatever is going on around him. And if he's on a bad defensive basketball team, then it seems to take away from his defensive game as well. And we know he's coming to a place in Sacramento where they'd be asking him to raise the level defensively of the guys around him. And it seems like the opposite happens.
Yeah.
His level of defense drops when he gets in situations where the defense around him ain't so great. You throw that in with, what is he, about a 34% three-point shooter? And I just don't know that you're going to get your $30 million worth out of Kyle Kuzma when he gets here.
I don't like it. I see, a lot of people tweeting that, they'd offer Kuzma $26-27 million a year. First and foremost, what's his market? Like, I know Matt Moore is writing and telling me that his market's huge. Is his market really huge?
I think you'll have a few bidders.
Dallas, right, is not going to be in it. Dallas has to bring back Kyrie. I don't see Dallas making that happen. I don't see Dallas making that work. They don't have the cap space unless they start shedding a ton of payroll and all that stuff. Dallas gets mentioned. They're almost like they're second to Miami. Every time somebody's available, Miami's in on it. I never buy all that. Like, to me, it's some leverage play. I don't see Dallas as likely because they want Kyrie back. And once that's done, you're not paying Kyle Kuzma $30 million when you got to pay Kyrie and Luka. So I don't see that. I don't see the Jazz, as I just mentioned, because they just traded for John Collins. I think Kuzma's out on that spot. Indiana, maybe. Indiana could be a team that has cap space that could dump some money. But I don't know if his market, to me, is, I've got to rush and pay this guy $30 million a year. I would not be in on that for $30 million a year. If you told me you could get Kuzma for like 17, 18, maybe 20, maybe you could talk me into it. I have to just look at it. And if you believe that Keegan is part of the big three, say if the Kings have their big three and their big three ends up being Fox, Domas, and Keegan, then Kuzma would make some sense. But here's the issue. You're looking at a Domas extension. Eventually, you're going to have to pay Keegan. And you're going to end up giving Kyle Kuzma like 4 years at a bunch of money. Is Fox, Domas, and Kuzma your big three? Because if you don't think Keegan's going to be your third guy or your second guy, then you're telling me that that's the big three you're going to roll with. Fox, Domas, and Kuzma. So, and transparently, man, I've never been a huge fan of Kuzma's game. He's a high-volume shooter. He's incredibly streaky. He's a high-usage player offensively who does not take a lot of free throws. Reminds you of HB at times. He does not get to the line consistently. He has a terrible shot selection. And I'm afraid of like him and Malik Monk having these quarters of just, oh, you took a bad shot. I'm gonna one up your bad shot with my bad shot. And you mentioned it, Ramie, defensively. I think Kuzma has the tools to be a defensive player, and he's shown flashes. I don't think he wants to be a defensive player.
I feel like he's a defensive chameleon. If he's someplace where defense is important, then he will play defense. If the guys around him are playing defense, then he'll play defense. I think when he gets into situations where it's not as emphasized and the guys around him aren't as good at it, then he falls into that as well.
I don't know if his intentions are what you want. Like, I don't think he is worried about being a possession in, possession out defender. And I also think that he believes he's a number one or number two option. At the worst, number two option. And I wonder if he gets paid, what does that do to the psyche? Are you having a guy walk in here saying, I'm going to have I'm going to take 18 to 20 shots a night. You pay me $25, $30 million. I'm your number two. I'm going to jack him up.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not an incredibly efficient player.
No.
So I've never loved Kuzma's game. And I'm concerned that the Kings end up handcuffing themselves with a big deal like that. And now you've got Fox, Domas, and Kuzma on the books, and you're married to those guys for the next 3-4 years. And then you've got to, cross the Keegan Bridge when you get there. So I have my concerns about Kyle Kuzma. Your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Kuzma, especially at $30 million? If you're telling me you'll get Kuzma for $17, $18 million, you could probably talk me into it.
And you said you have concerns. I'm not saying I don't have concerns, but show me a free agent signing that I wouldn't necessarily have concerns about. And I don't know that they're out there, Nick.
So your thoughts? You went on Kyle Kuzma. 916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. You can also hit us up on YouTube at the chat, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. We will get to your feedback, your thoughts on Kyle Kuzma, and a whole lot more coming up in 90 seconds.
Show me the money!
The King season might be over, but Sactown sports coverage never stops.
Returning is honestly my number one priority. Be a part of something special.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
over there
are statistically
it's still alive.
Unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants like lemongrass and geraniol and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Live and local in the afternoon.
They always keep you on edge.
Cattles
And Ramie.
on Sactown Sports.
All right, let's get to some of your reaction. YouTube chat. YouTube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Check us out. Give some thumbs up. We're over 30. Let's get to 50. Let's get to 50 likes today.
Oh, easy.
Easy. Chris Oliva. Throw a name at you, Ramie, since Chris threw a name at us.
All right.
Grant Williams.
I don't know. What's the price tag? What are we talking about?
For Grant?
Yeah.
My best guess, maybe about 16.
That's a good deal.
I was going to say somewhere in the 10 to 15 range. Maybe I'm in on Grant Williams. So 16, yeah.
I don't know because we'll talk about him in a little while, but Naz Reid, right? Like Naz Reid got $14 million a year from Minnesota. I don't think Naz Reid is, when you look at him and Grant,
yeah,
market-wise, probably somewhat similar, right? mean, I think Grant's more versatile and a better
shoot
defender.
The three a little bit, good defender.
Yeah, better shooter.
Yeah.
So if Naz got 14, Grant might get 16 or 17. Do you like Grant Williams?
I'd kick the tires. Like I said, I'm keeping an open mind as far as where this money goes and who they'd be. I don't think I'm gonna say no to a lot of guys, Nick, because I know the way that free agency works out. I think there are plenty of guys out there that can help the Kings on this free agent market, and obviously a few are more appealing than the rest. But yeah, I think Grant Williams brings some things to the table that the Kings kind of need, and at the right price, sure. Yeah, I'd kick the tires.
I think Grant Williams is a perfect fit for the Kings. Perfect. I think he's a big that can play alongside Domas because he can stretch the floor. I think he's a very good, versatile defender. And he also has a little bit of that edge and look, he talks too much. That's what I would warn Kings fans about. Like, he will fatigue you a little bit. Mm-hmm. He never shuts up with the officials. He'll never stop talking. I think he believes he's a little better than he really is.
Flops a lot too.
But you want to talk about both ends of the floor, a guy that can shoot the three and can stretch and play alongside Domas. And, the argument would be if he gets paid, then maybe he's a little bit more secure in his skin. I think this past year, he tried to do a little bit too much at the beginning of the year because he was thinking about money. I'm going to get the bag. I got to secure the bag.
More money.
But, I think Grant would be a good fit. I really do. I think Grant would be a good fit for the Kings. And if it's going to cost you $16 million, $17 million, then you could get Grant. You can get another guy at $16, $17 million. And you got Vezenkov. Now you got 3 additions to a team that was third in the Western Conference a year ago and won 48 games. That ain't too shabby. And you still have all your assets. Davion Mitchell, you have some firsts, you got some swaps. You've got, the trade exception from Dallas. Text line. Draymond Green single-handedly killed all of the camaraderie the Warriors had. They do not want Draymond Green on the Kings. How much do you put into that, Ramie? Because we talked about his basketball fit, but how much do you put stock into the whole teammate thing and some of the stuff that he's done?
JJ and I talked a little bit about that, like how it would go as far as, integrating him into the locker room. As far as the chest stomp in the playoffs, I keep bringing this up. Scottie Pippen's walking around with a scar in his chin that Dennis Rodman gave him, and they went on to win 3 championships just a couple of years after that went down. So they can get over it. Guys get over that kind of stuff real quick when they realize somebody can come in and help win a championship. But that aside, I think, Draymond's brand of motivating and encouraging teammates, it can rub some people the wrong way. And,
hit a guy with a super punch.
And it's a lot easier to swallow that pill, to accept that kind of stuff when you came up with Draymond. You know what I mean? When your staff or Clay or even Steve Kerr, who that was his first head coaching job, it's different when he's going into a situation and bringing that type of strong personality with him. I think that'd be a challenge for any organization or any locker room. I think the Kings are more equipped for it than most others would be because of Mike Brown and the relationship that he has with Draymond Green and the tone that he's already set here in Sacramento. So I'm not as put off by that as I think some other folks are.
Just again, watch out for the Superman punch if it's flying your way.
Yeah,
12 Malatu.
Stuck.
12 Malatu on YouTube, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140 says about Grant Williams, he's 6'6", man. He is not a very, very tall guy.
Plays big.
But what I would compare him to PJ Tucker. He's that kind of player. There are certain guys that are 6'5", 6'6", but can play the 4. Charles Barkley is like 6'4". And I'm not saying Grant's Charles Barkley, but it all depends on frame and game. Like, you can be 6'5", 6'6", and survive at the 4. You can certainly do that. And I think Grant does do that. So he's PJ Tucker-esque with his game. And when PJ Tucker was knocking down threes consistently, I mean, Grant's a 40% shooter from 3. He'll kill you from the corner. I mean, he's a perfect fit. I'm telling you. Perfect fit for the Kings. He's a perfect fit with Domas. Another text about Draymond. Please, God, don't sign Draymond. Dude is washed. Keep him away. Yeah, 33 years old. Never a superior athlete. Always survived at the NBA level with his basketball IQ and the little things that he does. He's not going to wow you with his athleticism. And defensively, I think he is starting to take a step back. I don't want Draymond. I don't think he's a good fit. I don't think he's a good fit on the floor. I think he's a terrible fit offensively. Here's another text, Ramie. Get your thoughts on this. What do y'all think? Seems like it's more likely we run it back. One more year together is better than new, barely better players.
So you saying bring back HB?
Bring him back.
I said when the offseason started, that's definitely something that's a possibility. And you're not going to necessarily find it all that easy to upgrade on Harrison Barnes. And if the free agent market, this goes back to what I've been saying, Nick, about keeping an open mind about the options that they now have with all that money that they have to spend. If the way that the market shakes out turns out that Harrison Barnes is the best player that you can get, not the end of the world, man. You know what I mean? And especially if you're going to add a Vezenkov and maybe one other piece with the money that you have, along with bringing back Harrison Barnes.
Right.
We talked during the season about Harrison Barnes is a good ball player. I just wish they relied on him more, that his importance to, or relied on him less, I should say, that his importance to this team was maybe a little bit less. And you had other guys that could step into the lineup and give you some versatility in terms of doing some things that Harrison Barnes doesn't necessarily have in his bag. So that's another thing. This is going to get really old really fast as we get closer and closer to free agency, of me saying, yeah, I'm not against that. I'm open to that.
Here's what's interesting about the HB thing. You've got to make a decision, right? Because, again, you've got his cap hold. And as much as we talk about Friday, and Friday is going to be an absolutely crazy day, a fun day. As much as we talk about Friday and NBA free agency and how deals are going to be struck, don't get it twisted. People are talking to each other in the league, okay? I think Monty has a decent idea as to what he might be able to do right now. I think he has an idea. Hey, I've got a shot at Kyle Kuzma at about this money. Hey, I've got a shot at this guy at about this money. You know what? It's probably not worth going after Cam Johnson because the Nets are just going to match any deal that you offer him anyway. He has a good idea. Monty and his staff have a good idea. So that begs the question of, Harrison's team is also working for Harrison right now. And let's say a team like the Indiana Pacers are interested in bringing Harrison Barnes in. And let's say Indiana wants to pay him $20 to $25 million. Do you make that decision on Harrison Barnes before you might get the yes or the no from some of these other guys?
Right.
The timing of this is fascinating because you have to renounce Harrison Barnes to open up this space.
I renounce you, Harrison Barnes.
So if Monty doesn't renounce the cap hold, right? If he doesn't say, hey, we're done, we're renouncing HB, then HB is still solidly in the mix until that is done. Because once that is done, he gone. So it's really a timing thing and where HB's head is at. And, does HB think he can go out into the market and get $20+ million a year? If he does Monty want to spend $20+ million a year? Is HB willing to take a discount, quote unquote, to stay here in Sacramento because he's been here for so long? Is all of these things are being discussed right now. Because if you wave goodbye to Harrison and you don't bring somebody in who is seen at least as an equal on less money or an upgrade on HB,
you could take a step back.
Yeah, it's a tough spot, right? It's a really tough spot to be in.
You're sitting there with holding on to your $30 million, nothing to do with it.
But I go back. Sometimes you just got to try to read the tea leaves, and you're not always going to be right when you do it. But you go back to the draft night trade. There is a reason why Monty made that deal. There's a reason why Monty McNair created that extra cap space. They did not need extra cap space to re-sign Harrison. They could have re-signed Harrison for whatever. He's their own guy. So when they made that move, to me it screamed Monty either knows he's got somebody or he feels pretty good about somebody that is not Harrison Barnes, because he created that space for a reason.
Right.
Whether it's one guy or two guys, he made that move. You don't just give up a first-round pick if you're going to re-sign Harrison Barnes. He gave up that first-round pick and gained that cap space because he's got his eye on somebody.
He's got an idea.
If not a couple of people. So could HB be the backup plan? Certainly. But that trade tells me HB is not plan A. I don't know who plan A is, but I don't think it's Harrison Barnes, which I think is the right thing, as we discussed right after the season, Ramie. The whole priority is to upgrade. All right, speaking of the Kings, you can cross off 2 names from the Kings wish list. Talk about it next.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
For over a decade, SimpliSafe has revolutionized home security, and our latest advancement is here, 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Oh, God, he's back.
Who's back?
The clown.
The naked one?
Yes, Giggles. He just drove on the lot in a new Kia.
Does he want to trade it in?
No, he wants to show it off.
Isn't he showing off enough? Oh, here he comes.
See what Elk Grove Kia did for me? That's service. That's why they got my business, not you.
Yeah, I think we've already seen too much of your business. Thank you.
Elk Grove Kia. Great service for everyone.
Elk Grove Kia has never made it easier for you to show it off. Like the hottest all-electric EV in the market, the luxurious EV6. Save big with lease specials of $10,000 below MSRP. Not just one or two, but every EV6 in stock. Don't worry about credit. No credit, bad credit, charge-offs, repos. Don't worry. Our team has over 100 years of experience. Others say no. Elk Grove Kia says yes. Get your EV6 today at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or elkgrovekia.com and show it off today.
Elk Grove Kia.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical bull, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2, brought to you by Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, E2 Family Winery, and Hyatt Vacation Club.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. I'm Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings wasted no time over the weekend pursuing EuroLeague MVP and Olympiacos star Sasha Vezenkov. Sacramento has officially offered Vezenkov an NBA contract worth part of their $12.4 million mid-level exception after clearing significant cap space last week by trading center Richaun Holmes and the 24th pick to the Mavericks. Speaking of assets, the Atlanta Hawks are sending John Collins to the Utah Jazz, sources told ESPN on Monday. The trade creates a $25 million trade exception for the Hawks, the largest in the NBA. The Hawks are acquiring Rudy Gay and a future second-round pick for Collins. Atlanta has a year to potentially exercise the exception, and the trade cannot become finalized until next Thursday. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Welcome back into Cattles and Ramie.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and more.
This is Cattles and Ramie
on Sactown Sports.
So we've been talking, Ramie, for the last couple months about what this offseason could look like, and we've thrown some names out there. A couple of those names I think you can safely cross off the list. One, absolutely you can cross off the list. One, looks like it's going to go that way. I had spent a lot of time during last offseason and also at the trading deadline this last season talking about Naz Reid. Now, I thought Naz Reid was a fantastic fit here with the Kings to play alongside Domas.
As did I.
Made a lot of sense.
I think they played the Timberwolves just before the trade deadline, and I'm pretty sure the Timberwolves won. And you and I were both pointing at Naz Reid in that game and going, "See, that's the Kings could use a guy like that. That's what the Kings need right there."
Yeah, he's a guy that could stretch the floor, kind of sneaky athletic, catch you by surprise every once in a while, and he can defend at the rim.
Yep,
a little bit there.
Work. Yeah,
and so he's somebody who could play the 4 alongside Domas at the 5. He's somebody that could play the 5 when Domas sat out for a few minutes. Made a lot of sense to me for the Kings. Well, he gone. That is not going to happen. Naz Reid is staying in Minnesota with the Timberwolves over the weekend. He agreed to a 3-year, $42 million contract extension with Minnesota. That's $14 million a year. Fair price.
Sure.
$1 million in cap space.
I don't know if it's a fair price for Minnesota just because of the money they're dumping into the position.
Dude, how many bigs do they need?
My
or does this
freaking
mean,
word.
About does 3 more. Does this mean they're trading Cat?
They're paying over $400 million between Gobert, Cat, and now Naz Reid.
Good Lord.
$400 million plus like 4 unprotected first-round picks they gave up.
I mean, we see Denver and what they did. And I know we're talking about the game's going a little bit bigger if you can get there, which is why we talked about it earlier. Chris Paul, interesting move by Golden State. They're zigging while everybody wants to zag. But that's a lot of money for bigs. 3 bigs, more than $400 million.
Good Lord.
And it didn't work this year. They're like, let's double. They're doubling down. If you're Minnesota, you got to worry. Our friend Phil Mackey in Minnesota right now. Phil better worry. Phil better worry about, the GM, who is Conley, right? Used to be Denver's GM.
Yes.
Is he going to be almost too stubborn with this plan? And he's like, he's going to either prove to the world that they can play with Gobert and Cat and just Naz Reid, or
see, I thought all along, and we've heard rumors to this effect, Nick, that if it didn't work or if it was clear that it wasn't going to work, the plan with Rudy Gobert, then their big chip to move and sort of reload some of those assets and some of that money off the cap that they gave up in the Rudy Gobert trade would be to trade Cat. I always thought that it was sort of do or die for Cat. They made the move for Rudy Gobert.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, so I think they wanted Gobert and Cat to work. At this point, and Ryan and Sactown in the YouTube chat, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Give us that like. Talking Kings pretty much all day with you. And a lot this week as we get ready for free agency. I think they wanted it to work with Cat and Gobert. I don't know if they're totally sold on the idea that it's going to work now. And Towns' contract is absurd. And I think if you go back to Cat like 2-3 years ago, and I'm not even talking about, I'm well aware of his personal story. I'm well aware of the adversity he faced. I'm well aware of all of that. I'm just talking about on the floor, okay? Because I don't think you can excuse everything that he falls short of on the floor due to people passing away. That's the reality of it, right? I'm not trying to be cold-hearted here, but when you work, you lose people in your personal life. You got to keep working, and you got to try to do the best job you can do. Mm-hmm. And at times, it could still affect you, of course. But, I don't think him arguing with the officials is because he lost his mother to COVID. I don't think him being immature on the floor at all times is because some of the challenges he's had to face off the floor. Guess what? He could just be, somewhat of a immature guy on the floor. And so there's so many questions about him. Who in the world is going to pay this guy $60 million in 2026?
I have no idea, man.
2028, he has a player option for $64 million.
He's just not that dude. Super talented. He's just not that dude. You know what I mean?
You're going to pay him because, look, I would imagine he's going to say yes to that player option in 27, 28. The final 2 years of his deal, you're paying over $125 million for Karl-Anthony Towns. I might be able to sell you that or sell you on that like 3 years ago. But I think that ship has sailed. So they might want to move Towns. I don't think they're going to be able to move Towns. I just don't see it happening. Not with that contract, man. Like his extension hasn't even kicked in. His extension kicks in 24-25. And right now, estimate, probably going to be higher than this because they're going to get more money on the cap and TV deals and all that. Right now, $52 million, $56 million, $60 million, $64 million. Is that contract extension. Hasn't even kicked in yet.
That's insane.
Towns only played 29 games last season, too, which is the devil's advocate argument for keeping him and Gobert together, but they weren't great in those 29 games.
I mean, there's no doubt they want to move him. I don't know how many people are calling. Even though
world of talent, man. I think he has MVP type of talent.
As Nate Kyle mentioned, Cat thinks he changed the game. Yeah. Even though he changed the game, according to himself, I don't think there's many teams knocking on that door. But anyway, so Naz Reid is staying in Minnesota for now. I don't even know if the Kings were interested. We speculated he'd be a great fit. I don't know if Monty was really interested or not. I have no idea.
I mean,
if Monty wants to text me or call us.
I was going to say, Monty listens to this show and takes our word.
And the other
gospel,
guy, and the other guy,
can Ramie want Naz Reid? Let me go get Naz Reid.
Got to go get him.
Got to go get this guy.
And the other guy that I'd be shocked if Monty was not interested in is Josh Hart. And we talked about Josh Hart. He is a great fit for the Kings. He can knock down threes. He's a very good defender. He's great on 50-50 balls. He's a really, really good rebounding guard / wing for his size. And, he's somebody who truly seemingly gets it. But he has decided to extend his deadline to make a decision to stay with the Knicks, which that usually means the team is negotiating. He's going to make a little bit more money. And they just extended that deadline where he had to decide on his player option.
This means the two sides want to work something out. He wants to be a Knick. They want him to be a Knick. They just need a little more time to work it out. They don't need other people getting in his ear and making it difficult.
And he's a perfect, Tibbs player.
He was exactly, I think, what the Kings sort of needed, and he was high on my list of guys I'd have liked to seen him go after, but it doesn't look like that's going to be a real possibility.
Yeah. So you've got both Naz Reid and Josh Hart likely off the market. Two guys that I thought were tremendous fits, and also they weren't going to cost you a ton of money.
Yeah.
I mean, Hart's probably going to get, I don't know what, 17, 18 million at the most. So when we talk about the Kings having cap space of around 36 million, these are the moves they could make. You absolutely could have afforded both Naz Reid and Josh Hart.
Yeah.
And imagine adding those two guys to your team. You feel pretty good. And then you also have the exception money that they've offered Vezenkov. So, if you told me you added Josh Hart, Vezenkov, and Naz Reid, not a bad offseason.
Not bad at all.
And you still have assets.
I would take that.
To trade if you'd like. All right, I remind you that all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop
Honda shop.
You intentionally did that terribly. You knew it was going to be
out
late.
Of practice. You were gone for a while. I was gone for a while.
You knew it was going to be late, and you jumped over the top.
We got to work on it.
Snuck up on me, too.
It's not going to get better unless we work on it.
I actually kind of appreciate it, how you were just willing to commit to the awfulness.
Because practice makes perfect.
Practice?
We already did that today.
It's called a callback.
Well, we're all out of the. That's coming up at 5:30. We're all out of the. AI practice. Oh, Simone really liked Kyle's callback.
Yeah, and then I felt bad because that was his injured hand. I tried to give him a high five, and he has his bandage all over it.
Yeah,
terrible.
We'll get some more of your action on the Kings. Maybe we'll discuss Kyle's busted ass hand and a whole lot more coming up.
Need your Niners fix? Sactown Sports has you covered.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think Trey looks significantly better than he did last year. I really do. I think his confidence is there. I think that he's throwing really good passes. I mean, just watching him, he just looks so much more comfortable and confident in the pocket, and I really appreciate that from him, from all the work that he's put into it. He just looks like he's having fun, because when he's out there having a good time, it definitely brings up everyone around him.
Get all your 49ers coverage leading into the 2023 season at Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
It's almost the 4th of July, and you know what that means. One of the biggest grilling parties you can throw all year. Nick Cattle suggesting you celebrate your 4th of July the right way with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Our Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned us into pros. Napoleon grills are all made with premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Go to Napoleon.com for your nearby Napoleon Grills dealer. Napoleon Grills, now is the time for the best selection of grills and fine accessories. Get ready for the 4th of July.
Prestige line comes with a lifetime warranty. At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Do you have any superstitions on the golf course? You know, most players have some. Links Golf Magazine offers a few. Never tee off in front of someone who just made a birdie. That's sure to incur the wrath of the golf gods. What's your lucky ball marker? Maybe a quarter with your birth year? Never carry an extra ball in your pocket, and never use a ball you deem a water ball on a par 3 with a water hazard. There's a reason they're called water balls. And never use a ball found during a round. Using it the same day is bad karma. And if there's an unbroken tee on the tee box, another golfer left it behind for good reason. Speaking of tees, according to the late Tony Lima, white tees suffered from commonness and can be bad luck. Lee Trevino never used yellow. Other colors are acceptable except pink unless you're Paula Kramer. If you're in the middle of a career round, don't go near the ball washer. You might wash away the ball's magical awesomeness. And never talk to your competitor's ball in flight, yelling, hook, carry, get down, or hit a house. It'll come back to haunt you. Kind of makes you feel normal, huh? That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. Well, coming up in August, the A's will induct the next class into the A's Hall of Fame. It'll be before the A's play the Giants on Sunday, August 6th. And what a group. Jason Giambi, World Series champions Carney Lansford and Gene Tennis, 5-time All-Star and former Philadelphia Athletic Bob Johnson, and the great voice of God, Roy Steele. The induction ceremony, the A's and the Giants on August 6th. Ken Korak here, introducing you to the Xfinity 10G network. Xfinity is undergoing a multi-year network evolution, giving you a powerful connection today while building toward a faster, more reliable tomorrow. The Xfinity 10G network gives you the fastest internet with even faster speeds rolling out all the time. You also get a consistent and reliable connection when everyone's online, even during peak hours. That's a home run. If you want to learn more, go online at xfinity.com/10G.
Live and local in the afternoon.
They always keep you on edge.
Cattles
and Ramie
on Sactown Sports.
Derek Verselli, what's happening, Derek? YouTube chat. What's up, boys? Great show today. Thank you. We appreciate you.
And we agree.
Yes. Spectacular show today.
Great show.
Especially on a Monday.
Oh.
I mean, I was off last week.
For us to come out of, and I was sick Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
For us to come out of the gates as good as we are today.
I mean, we hopped right on the bike.
I think it's a 10 out of 10 show.
By the way, who's the backseat bike guy? Me or you?
Rob, I would say I don't know. How good a bike rider are you? I would assume the stronger bike rider goes on the front.
That would probably be you.
I got bad knees.
But you work out more than I do.
That is true. I ride the exercise bike.
And you do yoga.
I do. I did an hour of yoga this morning.
An hour of yoga. Who possibly fits in an hour of yoga in the morning?
This guy right here.
Damn right.
Yeah. Gotta fit it in.
Certainly not this guy.
Gotta take care of yourself.
Would you be against getting like one of those motorcycles with the little sidecar?
Ooh.
Oh, no, I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that. I never wanted a motorcycle. But
you a sidecar guy or
throw in the
sidecar guy?
Oh, no, I should be sidecar guy. I don't trust myself on driving a motorcycle.
I don't really trust myself.
I was about to say, Nick, you're going to get in a sidecar driven by Ramie. That's what's going to happen now.
That sounds like we just got 2 sidecars.
Yeah.
With Simone barreling down the highway.
A couple sidecar guys here.
Couple sidecar guys.
Very humble today.
Simone's driving the motorcycle.
Okay.
On the it raises an interesting question. On the tandem bike, does the stronger rider go on the front or the back? I think the front, because whenever I see parents and kids, the parent is up front and the kid is in the back.
And sometimes they have their feet up. They're not doing any of the work.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of those like I don't know what you would even call them.
The bike bars,
like the bike, like
the
chariots
pedal-
almost
totally
in
do that.
Tahoe. The whole family.
The people who
I'm gonna book one for us.
Yeah.
Say less. I'm booking one. I got a weekend.
I don't think he's talking about the pedal tavern, Simone. I think he's talking about like
I'm okay with the pedal tavern.
It's like
I'm down on that.
I'd get on one of those.
I'm down with that.
It's like a 4-seat bike. Like I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. With like it's got benches basically, like a front seat and a back seat, and everybody's pedaling.
Well, not everybody. It's always the dad. I saw it like 20 times in Tahoe. And dad is always the one trying to pedal his family
I pointed that
up the
out
hill.
too. Some freeloading ass kids on the back taking a free ride.
Dad's pulling hamstrings as he's trying to get up the hill.
You could pedal.
I mean, at least give some effort. At least make it look like you're trying to help dad. Lazy ass kids.
A lot of people catching strays today.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're letting your dad do all the work, then you gotta step up.
Now
Big problems there.
If we want to do a show pedal tavern though, I'm in.
I'm in.
I don't know what that is, but
then what did you think we were talking about?
The brew bike thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Maybe I
Same
shouldn't have
thing.
said their
Same
name.
thing.
Okay.
Same thing.
All right.
Same difference.
Yeah, you
Perfect.
just named
I
the
am
brand.
going to be sending out a text.
Yeah,
right
free
now.
advertising for the local brand of pedal taverns.
It's fine. Local business.
Hey, maybe we'll get a deal. JJ knows a guy. I guarantee you. JJ knows a guy.
100%.
JJ probably knows 5 guys. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it.
He'll start
Now-
a bidding war.
I'm also picturing you guys doing the Flintstones thing, like no no floor, and both of you trying to pedal on the ground.
So JJ, by the way, you saw the text exchange over
Yes,
the
I
weekend.
did. Yeah.
So I texted on Saturday that I was going to be, we'll get back to the Kings, trust me. Maybe not immediately, but we're going to get back to them eventually. Stay with us. But I texted out on Saturday that Kelly and I had pulled up to a place, one of my favorite spots. And Simone was like, I'm gonna pull up with a couple of honeys. By the way, she showed up with one honey.
One honey.
Singular.
The other honey was at home allegedly warming up a hot
Oh,
tub.
so that was a fraudulent hot tub, honey? You can tell hot tub, honey. She got to make sure the hot tub's hot. Yeah, hot in the hot tub. Yeah, you got to tell her. You got to set her straight. So Simone showed up with one of her friends. Martha.
Martha.
And,
Marsha.
Yeah, Marsha. Ramie texts. He was out of town. Chris never texts, but Simone messaged me in person and told me that Vlad was a little under the weather over the weekend.
Yes.
JJ, this is customary for JJ. JJ, if you text him on like a Friday or Saturday night, he's not going to – usually he doesn't get back to you.
It's usually like a 16-hour turnaround.
It's the next morning, early afternoon. You wake up to the JJ text.
He's laughing at something.
And
I don't even remember what he's laughing at. He's like, Robbie, you crazy dog. I'm like, what did I say? I don't even remember. I got to scroll up and remember what I said.
You got to go back like 1,500 texts back to see it. And then you don't even know what he's referencing. You think you know what he's referencing, but he might be referencing something different within the last 15 hours. And he texted us that he was doing something in LA for like BET.
He said BET Awards weekend.
Yes.
That guy.
It's a big weekend.
I'm like,
they gave the Lifetime Achievement to Bust a Bust.
I thought they gave it to JJ. This guy has got it going.
I think this is the second straight weekend because last week I was here. He's like, yeah, I went to Los Angeles real quick over the weekend.
Don't sleep on my man. He's going to LA all the time.
Jet setter, no doubt.
My guy's doing things. And I text back. I said something about like JJ pulling that, like, going over the top again on us.
He's probably sitting next to Kyrie Irving at that too.
Sorry, man. I was hanging out with Bust a Bust on Saturday night. Couldn't come on by.
I was presenting him his Lifetime Achievement Award.
Sorry, I was hanging out at Busta's post party. My bad. I wasn't going to go, but Busta insisted.
He insisted. I don't know.
Made it back in time for 6 a.m. radio on a Monday.
I mean,
JJ doing the morning show this week.
That guy. It's JJ's all around the world.
Look at this guy.
He's all around the world. He's doing all sorts of shows on the air. I mean, I don't know if anybody's stock has risen higher than JJ's in the last year. And that man, his stock is very high right now.
For sure.
If you're buying stock, buy JJ stock.
Well, you don't buy high, right? You buy low and sell high.
No, he's got to go higher, though.
Oh, you think he's...
Oh, yeah.
Stock's still rising.
He's got to reach the zenith.
Yeah,
I mean, he's propelling...
Yeah.
By the dips.
Yeah.
I mean, he's incredible. Yeah, might wait for an off week. When he's not.
Hey, wait for a dip.
Not when
he's for a dip on JJ
when he's not jet setting around the country.
Wait for him to go on vacation in New York City. That's when.
You might get a stock a little bit lower, and then you come in a little bit lower, and then JJ's hanging out with Jay-Z somewhere or something, and stock through the roof. I mean, you think we kid? We don't kid.
No.
This man he's making
Jet
moves.
setter and a move maker.
Sitting with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch at a playoff game.
Obscene. It's just crazy.
Sitting right behind Kyrie and his daughter. He's having conversation with Kyrie Irving. He's jet setting to the BET Awards over the weekend.
I'm happy for him, though.
And that man had the nerve to say Courtside Cattle. He had the nerve. He had the nerve.
He sure did, didn't he?
He had this guy's hanging out with Busta Rhymes. He's telling me Courtside Cattle.
Lovable, squeezable Nick.
I miss
like
that
a
man.
ghost. That was so sweet.
I miss that man. I'm having JJ withdrawals.
It's been too long.
Didn't get to work with him last week. He's not working with us
You,
this week until Friday.
We all got to get on that pedal tavern together. Catch up.
I'm trying to come up with all the people that I should invite, and it's getting complicated.
How many fit on one of those things?
I saw
10 to 12, right?
I saw like 16 people over the weekend because
that's too many.
What was interesting is like
I don't like that many people.
This is the first time I've ever seen it. They just
overwhelmed.
drop everyone off at like it was 20th Street in downtown. They just drop everyone off at the end of it. It's like, okay, go find your own cars.
Yeah.
We're just dropping you off here.
Yeah, end of the road.
And they get off the pedal tavern like drunken cows, just aimlessly walking
literally,
around trying to find their vehicles.
That was literally what it was. It was 20 people just standing in a circle, all who had just spent 2 hours on a pedal tavern.
I don't know where we go.
Somebody get an Uber.
Should I not send out this text? I was being very sincere.
No,
I
I'm
wanted
down.
to get this going.
I'm down. I'm
okay,
in.
all right.
I would be down.
Gonna send out 20 invitations and get 6 replies.
And every time one of them gets in my way as I'm driving around Midtown, my girlfriend is like, "That looks like so much fun." So she'd be down.
I've never been on one
two.
either. Yeah.
I've never been on one either. They hold up traffic. I just see them holding.
I'm not legally allowed to be on one of those.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Why? Or okay.
Because I'm 16 years old. That's
Restraining
why.
order,
All right.
Simone.
The what?
I didn't even hear it. What'd you say?
Restraining order. I said restraining order.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Jesus, Ramie. No, I was making a joke about how young I am, but Jesus.
He's got nothing to do with it.
Jeez, man.
They won't let Kyle on it because he has a mutant hand.
Yeah, what'd you do, dude?
Oh.
What'd you even do?
Very similar. I was playing some pickup basketball, balling up on some people, and I popped my wrist, and We got the compression tape. It's all purple, and we're doing good.
All I think about is the clumps back here. I'm like, Hercules.
Kyle came in before the show, and Simone's like, "Look at his hand. Feel like elephantitis of the hand." He puts it up.
It's so swollen,
like this,
so purple, you guys.
Like, you know when you blow air into like every kid does this in the doctor's office.
Kyle go, Mickey Mouse hand.
You blow air into the rubber glove.
Mickey Mouse hand.
Sorry, but he's okay. He's doing okay, you guys. I swear we're not bad people.
Yeah, no, you can laugh. I have full function in my wrist. It's just a sprain.
We're getting that HR email right now for bullying.
Oh, I ain't scared. Oh my God. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Oh.
Guy followed me.
My hand's all swollen up.
Oh my God.
We're not good people.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Beeman says, and I think this is a great point. Beeman says, "I'm sorry, Kyle, but you look like you would call a charge at a pickup game."
Absolutely not.
Hey, a charge
Absolutely
is a charge.
never. No.
All right,
my feet are set.
We'll talk about the latest on the Kings and Sasha Vezenkov and more coming up.
Lovable, squeezable Nick.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
If your Medi-Cal is ending, Cover California is here to help. Cover California is a service from the state that helps you get affordable health insurance. In many cases, at no cost to you, just like with Medi-Cal. We have quality health plans and will help you every step of the way to get the one that works for you and your family. So, if you're no longer eligible for Medi-Cal, check out Cover California. We'll keep you covered. Learn more at coveredca.com.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at Uma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Being a letter carrier and walking 20,000 steps, which equals up to about 10 miles a day, it's tough. I really didn't have feet problems. I had back problems. I'd had as many epidurals that I could possibly have in 1 year. That was scary. Well, I'd been delivering letters to the Good Feet store for over 6 years, and the expert there finally convinced me to try their arch supports.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Keith actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
The people at the Good Feet store really educated me about what the arch supports could actually do, and lo and behold, I have no more back problems. The future I can see now. I couldn't see it before. Where I would be without them, I have no clue. I'm Keith, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting. at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento. And I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 74 years. Look for made-in-America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTK AM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
I'm Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings wasted no time over the weekend pursuing EuroLeague MVP and Olympiacos star Sasha Vezenkov. Sacramento has officially offered Vezenkov an NBA contract worth part of their $12.4 million mid-level exception after clearing significant cap space last week by trading center Richaun Holmes and the 24th pick to the Mavericks. Speaking of assets, the Atlanta Hawks are sending John Collins to the Utah Jazz, sources told ESPN on Monday. The trade creates a $25 million trade exception for the Hawks, the largest in the NBA. The Hawks are acquiring Rudy Gay and a future second-round pick for Collins. Atlanta has a year to potentially exercise the exception, and the trade cannot become finalized until next Thursday. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. It's 5 o'clock. That means we got the top spot coming at you right now on Cattles and Ramie.
Did you miss the headline and the top story of the day?
Extra, read all about it.
Don't worry, because we got you covered.
This is how we do.
It's the Cattles and Ramie.
Top spot.
Fourth and final hour of the radio program today. And I know I'm biased, but I would say good show. Good show 3 hours in.
You're going to stop at good?
Fantastic show.
Great show.
Unbelievable show.
Send it
Maybe
to the
the
Hall
best
of Fame.
radio show that has ever been done in the history of radio.
I don't think that's exaggerated at all.
And we also cannot overlook the fact that we have Kyle working on the show today. And when you have as good of a show as we've had so far today with Kyle as your producer, you're really accomplishing something.
Yep.
I mean, he's all hands-on right now. Yeah.
Especially that giant hand.
You missed the joke, but yes.
No, I got the joke.
No one liked that, though. Okay.
No, Simone missed the joke.
All right, let's move on, shall we? Sasha Vezenkov.
Had a good show going.
I know, until that just happened. Sasha Vezenkov. Lots of talk about Sasha and what his future may be. Is he going to be a Sacramento King? Well, there's a report coming out of Greece over the weekend that the Kings have offered Vezenkov a contract. So no more speculation that they have actually offered him a deal. And in the story, it talks about Vezenkov making slightly less than Keegan Murray's $8.4 million or whatever. And I read that as the room exception, and we're not going to go over all the exceptions and stuff because I know a lot of people, your eyes
I didn't know there was such
over.
a thing as a room exception.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I don't want anybody to kind of get lost and end up driving off the road and hitting a tree or anything dramatic. So there are different exceptions in the NBA. It depends if you're a salary cap team, if you're a space team, if all that stuff. Luxury tax, second tax, blah, blah, blah. And so the Kings, the trade, Richaun Holmes, and the 24th pick on draft night opened up a good amount of cap space, and it put the Kings in the category of a team that can now operate under the cap. And so that means you get the room exception, which is $7.7 million. So I think that's what we're looking at. Ramie, we don't have a problem with this, do we?
I will take that. I'll take Sasha Vezenkov at under $8 million, Nick. We thought it was going to take $10 to $12 million to get him based on previous reports that to make it worth his while to move his whole life, his world across the globe and come play in the NBA with unfinished business yet over in the EuroLeague, that it would take somewhere in the $10 to $12 million range for him to actually net that $5 million he was looking to net to make it worth his while. If you can get him at under 8, great. And I don't know if this means that, they've talked and they know this is a price tag that he'll agree to, or if they're just telling him, hey, we understand that you want to make in the $10 to $12 million range and net 5, but here's what we're willing to give you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you don't want, if this isn't enough for you, well, then we can go in a different direction. We have $35 million in cap space to work with. If you can make it happen, I think you go ahead and take this and run with it in this offseason, along with the money you freed up with the Richaun Holmes trade. Just got a little bit better if you can get Sasha Vezenkov at under $8 million.
Yeah, so to try to keep this as simple as possible with all the cap stuff and CBA stuff, you can add a Vezenkov and you still have all the cap space. So if you wave goodbye to Harrison Barnes, you have about $35.5 million under the cap so far, right? That's what you're looking at. So with about $35.5 million, you can go out and you could sign 2 more guys. You could sign 1 big guy. You can trade for 1 big guy and not have to give up a bunch of cap space and a bunch of money to match the deal because you have that cap space to take the contract in. So there's just a ton of options for Monte McNair as we get ready for free agency hitting on Friday. And a lot of the names that we've talked about, Ramie, in the past, and I've said, oh, that's unlikely. That's not going to happen. You don't have the cap to do that. Well, now you do. Now you do. You don't have to ship out Fox or Sabonis to add a $30 million player because you have the space to do that. So that trade was just huge on draft night. It creates so many different options. They also have the $12 million player exception, the traded player exception. They call it the TPE. They've got that from Dallas. So there are just a ton of options for Monty. So you can add Vezenkov and you could still add 2 other significant names at 15 to 18 million apiece.
Draymond Green.
You can add 1 big name like a Draymond Green at 30 million. So there's a lot of options here. Personally, I would not want to add Draymond Green. I would not be interested in that. I don't think he's a great fit. But one guy, Ramie, people thought could be a big fit and a great fit here for the Kings. Somebody that got traded. We've heard a lot about John Collins. Atlanta has been just trying to trade John Collins for the last 3 years. And finally, they got that done today. John Collins goes to Utah, and Utah had to give up almost nothing. Rudy Gay, which is I think a $6.5 million contract, somewhere around that range. So Rudy Gay and a 2nd-round pick. This was a salary dump. That's what Atlanta did. And John Collins goes to the West, and this isn't the best news for the Kings. Look, I'm not telling you that Utah is going to be a top 3 team in the West.
They're the team to beat now.
But Overreaction Monday by Ramie there. But
Larry Markkinen at the 2. Come on.
They added John Collins and gave up nothing, and so now Utah has Collins and Kessler, and they also have Lauri Markkinen at the 3-4-5. That's a big athletic front line. And Utah had a pretty good year a year ago. And Danny Ainge, he's got $1 billion draft picks. He's got some other contracts that are tradable. I would not be surprised if Colin Sexton is on the block. They have a lot of things they can still do this offseason. They still have $25+ million in cap space. Utah all of a sudden is a pretty scary team, Ramie. And the fact that they took Collins from an East team, that's not good for you. You want as much talent as possible to go East, not come West.
Right. And if a team is adding, you'd prefer they're poaching off another Western Conference contender or playoff team. So it's at least hurting one of your opponents. But Nick, I don't worry too much still about the Utah Jazz. I would still have the Kings slotted ahead of them in my Western Conference power rankings. My first thought when looking at this trade was, that's it? That's all they had to give up for him? And all this time, all these rumors we've heard about the Sacramento Kings and their interest in John Collins, and that's all it took was Rudy Gay? that's probably Kessler Edwards off the Kings roster if they were really interested in bringing John Collins over here. So that tells me that either previous interest in him was greatly exaggerated, or they've set their sights on bigger things. They moved on to bigger and better things in terms of who and what they're looking to add to this basketball teams. And John Collins just ain't good enough anymore for Monte McNair and the Sacramento Kings.
If you start to put this together, you go to draft night and you make the trade you made. You created that cap space for a reason. I have to imagine Monte has ideas of what he could possibly trade for, what he could possibly sign via free agency. He has to have an idea. He has to know why he wanted to create that space. You have that, and then you combine that with what you just said, Ramie. The idea that John Collins went for all intents and purposes for a ham sandwich, and you decided to pass on Collins. Monte McNair is handling things right now like a GM who knows something big is around the corner. Mm-hmm. Whether that something big is one player or two players or an assortment of players, Monte passing up Collins for that price, the fact that he made that trade on draft night should lead us all to believe that Monte has something up his sleeve, and he's very confident that it's going to work out. We don't know what that is. Is it Kuzma? Is it Draymond Green? Is it a name that we haven't even talked about? We have no idea. But those actions tell you something. Those actions tell you that Monte has a plan, and that plan is going to be significant because he's not just doing these things for no good reason. Mm-hmm. This is a third team in the Western Conference this year, almost won 50 games. And if you had a healthy De'Aaron Fox at times and Domas didn't have a broken hand, maybe you do finish with 50 wins or more this past season. A lot of those teams, you saw it in the draft, a lot of those teams ended up either drafting guys in the mid to late first round or collecting second-round picks and drafting guys in the second round. They wanted to add, mature college players to the bench. Monte, look, Kobe Jones, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I really did. I wasn't on the show Friday, obviously. Couldn't react. I loved the pick. But he's acting as a GM who is about to make a big swing. And so I think it wouldn't be out of pocket. It wouldn't be setting us up to be disappointed to say we all should be ready for something significant by Friday. I think it would be stunning if we did not see Monte do something significant by Friday.
So you think we're not going to have to sit around and wait for it?
I don't think
be
so.
One of the first teams to strike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they've got the third most cap space after this trade of Collins to Utah. The fact is, Monte can walk into that room and drop the third biggest bag on that table and say, you want it or not? And if you don't want it, we're moving along. We're gonna pivot and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So they're in the room. Not many teams are in the room. Kings are in the room. So I would imagine, and look, maybe it doesn't happen on Friday. I hope it happens on Friday because that'll be a fun show. But
that would be.
If it doesn't happen on Friday, it's going to happen in short order. But I think all of the stuff, if we're reading the tea leaves, if we're trying to figure out what Monte's doing here, all of it should lead us to the idea that something significant is going to happen here for the Kings. I don't think it might end up being HB because, hey, Monte took the swing, but it has to work for both sides.
I was going to say, folks are going to be disappointed if the big news Friday is HB is back, baby. We're running this thing back.
Not if Monte went after it. Like if they could want to acquire OG Anunoby as bad as they want. If the Raptors are being difficult, which according to reports that I've read, Masai Ujiri is being very difficult to deal with when it comes to Siakam and Anunoby. He's like, give me everything you have or I'm not going to trade this guy to you. You can try. Like Monte can try all that he can try. But at the end of the day, if the other side is not reciprocating that and wants to join, if Monte wants to go after, a big free agent, and that free agent's like, you know what? I like that city. I like that team more than the Kings. Monte can't force him to make that decision. But by the way Monte has acted here the last week or so, it should tell you he's got his ducks in a row to do something big. And so I think it would make sense for us to be prepared for something big to happen. All right, your thoughts on everything. We just covered a whole lot. Collins trade, Vezenkov getting offered just slightly less than Keegan Murray at like $7 million.
Because the disc dog challenge is up on one of our TVs.
It's a really difficult thing to say.
These are the best athletes in the world.
The disc dog. I'm happy you said disc.
Challenge. Yes. So
disc dog.
Yes.
Don't worry. All he was saying is the Kings are going to trade for Kelly Olynyk.
So your thoughts? Not a bad name.
Go up and get it.
You're
high pointing that thing.
He is high pointing the frisbee,
right?
Isn't he?
Isn't he?
He high pointed that frisbee.
He dropped one early in his run. That was really easy. Really, really easy. Had me wondering about him.
He's got a good mouth.
Oh.
So like good hands. He's got good mouth. Settle down back there, Rickford. Settle down.
I didn't do anything.
All right, we'll continue to talk Kings with all of you coming up in 90 seconds.
Sactown Sports is your source for the 49ers.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful.
Did that leave a bitter taste in your mouth?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Me and Cal had a long meeting the other day. We watched tape. We talked about it. We put it behind us. And just going through the tape and just look how sluggish and like how bad it looked on tape. Like I said, just reflecting on last offseason, it kind of played a big role in that. I never put nothing like that back on tape again.
Tune into Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for the latest 49ers offseason developments.
It's almost the 4th of July, and you know what that means. One of the biggest grilling parties you can throw all year. Nick Cattle suggesting you celebrate your 4th of July the right way with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Our Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned us into pros. Napoleon grills are all made with premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Go to Napoleon.com for your nearby Napoleon Grills dealer. Napoleon Grills, now is the time for the best selection of grills and fine accessories. Get ready for the 4th of July.
Prestige line comes with a lifetime warranty.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Cattles and Ramie.
Cattles and Ronnie.
Sactown Sports.
All right, let's give away some tickets here before I forget. Folsom Lake Honda contest line. Your chance to win a couple tickets. 1-800-920-1140. 1-800-920-1140 to go check out Mike Epps.
Woo!
Hard Rock Casino Live November 10th. You want to hit the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now for your chance to win. Let's look for lucky caller number 7. Lucky number 7. Caller number 7. So that Folsom Lake Honda hotline / contest line wins the tickets to go see Mike Epps in November at the Hard Rock.
Do stand up.
1-800-920-1140. 1-800-920-1140. Congratulations to caller number 7.
I don't know if I've seen Mike Epps do stand-up or not.
I have not.
I mean, I've seen his specials, but I don't know if I've seen him in person.
Friday, I'm going to go see Bill Burr.
Nice.
I know.
That's
excited for you.
That's
Very
guy.
excited.
That's my favorite. He's just my favorite.
He's like right 10 minutes down the road. He's going to be at Thunder Valley.
That's a beautiful thing.
10 minutes down the road from where you grew up.
Well, that was funny. You see what he did there because of the whole New England thing?
Mm-hmm. Boston.
Really? Originally from Rhode Island, actually, but I digress.
You or Bill Burr?
It's not
or
all
both.
just one big area. You know what I mean? No, Bill's from Mass.
I thought everything north of New Jersey
is Massachusetts.
Is Boston?
Yeah, Rhode Island doesn't exist.
It's all
we don't exist.
It's all just Boston.
Yeah, I've never been east of Ohio, so it's all the same to me.
All right, let's jump through some of this reaction because we got a lot of reaction. We got some questions, Ramie. YouTube, of course, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. You can text us, as always, 916-339-1140 is that text line. Epic Airbeast says, with the new CBA and cap space issues, doesn't it become a big 2 and medium 1? Just asking. This is an interesting question from Epic, and it's something I wanted to mention about John Collins and this idea of, why it didn't take too much for the Jazz to trade for Collins. We're going to see a lot of teams, Ramie, and we've talked about this since the end of the year. This new CBA is going to cause headaches. And the new CBA is a big reason as to why many of these moves that we're going to see and have seen, they're going to be pulled, they're going to be pulled off by these teams, because I don't think the years of stacking up, $20+ million contracts, I don't think that's what you're going to see in future years. I don't think you're going to see many teams go the big three route. And when they go the big three route, I think the window is going to be very small. I'll give you an example. Last week I wasn't on, and the Celtics made a trade, right? And they brought in Kristaps Porzingis. And so now the Celtics have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kristaps Porzingis. And the rumor is that the Celtics are going to give Porzingis an extension. I would imagine that's going to be a 2-year extension. And what they're going to do is they're going to stagger the contracts. And they're going to have Jaylen Brown sign a supermax that doesn't kick in until next offseason. They're going to have Kristaps on a new extension he signs that doesn't kick in until next season. Jason Tatum will sign his supermax deal. That won't kick in until 2 summers from now. And what they're going to do likely is they're going to stagger these contracts, and they'll be able to turn around and pivot and move Kristaps Porzingis on his expiring contract or move Jaylen Brown on his supermax. They have some fluidity there by the way they're structuring these deals. But teams, they're not going to hold on to 3 gigantic salaries for 3, 4, 5 years. It's not going to happen. And what I mean by gigantic salaries is anybody that's really like over 30 million, 35 million.
Unless they're in the middle of winning championships.
Right, like maybe Denver keeps running it back.
Sure,
because
if this thing works in Phoenix, they might spend all the world's money to keep those guys together. But unless it's really, really working, Nick, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think these teams are going to get too tied down with contracts for these big threes for 4, 5, 6 years at a time. I don't think you're going to see that happen.
So, John Collins at $25.3 million this year, $26.5 next year. That's a big contract. And Atlanta's already dealing with DeJounte Murray and Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter and Clint Capella. And so you're going to see a lot of these moves, man. The easiest way I could possibly describe it is do not get used to anybody being on your team for more than like 2 years unless that guy is seen as a top 5 to 10 player. We're going to see. You think there's been a lot of movement in the NBA over the past decade, 2 decades? Just wait. We're talking 2-year clips now. That's what you're going to see. 2-year windows, 2 to 3 years max for a lot of these teams. You're going to have big contracts on the books for 2 years, and then what do we have to move now so we don't get punished because of these new CBA rules? And that's what the NBA wanted. The NBA wanted less super teams, less teams like the Clippers that are just going to take on money. The Lakers that are just going to take on money. The Celtics, to a point, just take on money.
Golden State,
take on tons of money. And so I think that's why Dunleavy made the deal, whether you like it or not. And I wasn't a big fan of the CP3 trade for the Warriors. But that's the argument, I think, for Dunleavy. Because he's looking at this and saying, we got a 2-year window. This is it. Steph's 35. Clay's been through, multiple surgeries. Draymond's 33. If they bring Draymond back, this is a 2-year run. That's it. And then they'll start trying to shed those contracts. They'll try to shed Draymond. They'll try to shed Chris Paul. They'll try to shed Klay Thompson. I think they'll retire Steph. Mm-hmm. But they'll try to shed all those other big contracts and just, flip it around and say we're resetting. And you're going to see a lot of teams do that. A lot of teams. That's the new NBA.
And I think you're going to see big contracts go just for the sake of trading big contracts with quality players.
Yeah.
Like the
John Collins, good. He's not great, but he's good.
The Richaun Holmes of the world, that's been happening for a long time. Where a guy is not playing up to his contract and you just look for a team to take it off your hands to free up some cap space for you, package it with a first-round pick or something like that. But the Bradley Beal type of deals where people are looking at it and going, that's all you got? The John Collins type of deals where people are looking at it and the assets you got in return and going, that's all you got? Well, yeah, they got that. They also got some financial relief and either to get under some sort of luxury tax or to get under the cap altogether and free up some money to bring in some other guys.
And you're going to see teams angle for second-round picks.
Yep.
It's already started. Because what's happening is the new punishments in the CBA that's going to hit, those late first-round picks have less value than top of the second-round picks. Because top of the second-round picks, you don't have to guarantee a thing. You can sign those guys two-way deals. You now can get 3 two-way deals in the NBA instead of 2.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see a lot of teams stockpile second-round picks because especially second-round picks that they think could fall in the top 10 or 15 of that round, the top half of that round. And that's why I think you saw, for example, the Celtics did that, where it was like all of a sudden it was Brad Stevens became Bill Belichick, and he kept trading down in the second round and picking up second-round picks because that second-round picks are going to have a lot of value moving forward. And to your point, Ramie, let's say a team like the Celtics or somebody else, Malcolm Brogdon, for example, say if they want to move on from that contract, he's making $22 million the next 2 years, right, each year. Well, now you attach a second-round pick to move Brogdon's contract.
Right.
You're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of that. If we can get Kuzma in a solid backup center like Pirtle, then I'm in. Well, Pirtle's not a backup center. He's starting.
He's starting for somebody.
He'll end up probably staying in Toronto, I would think. Kuzma, I already shared my thoughts on Kuzma. Not in love with him.
Go back and check it out. YouTube.com/Sactown.
Yes. Sactownsports.com podcast page.
Or the app. It's free.
All right, we'll keep talking Kings in the NBA offseason with Keith Smith on the callback next.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Apparently, there is a cage match brewing between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. Now, I hope this happens for many reasons. Number one, it just goes with the downfall of our society. Number two, nothing more fun than seeing super ultra mega billionaires just beat the hell out of each other. Number three, it would obviously be a terrible, terrible, terrible fight.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda. I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay clear tonight. A Delta breeze will cool us down to the upper 50s by morning. Tomorrow we'll have bright sunshine with light winds and highs will reach the upper 80s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. See our selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda. During a Flex Alert, let's do the dishes after 9.
What about the laundry?
It can wait until tonight or even the morning.
The AC?
It's at 78. Let's cool the house in the morning.
All right, so we're just chilling until 9.
Pretty much. And we can help avoid a power outage.
Putting off chores for later and hanging out with my best friend. I love Flex.
Maybe you should just unplug the appliances downstairs.
Good idea. Better acoustics in the basement.
California, the power is ours with Flex Alerts. Flex Alerts, the power is ours.
Sacramento Kings basketball is back this summer. Catch 6 games of NBA action and fun for the whole family when the California Classic Summer League returns on July 3rd and 5th. The Kings will host the Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers, Miami Heat, and newly added San Antonio Spurs and Charlotte Hornets with the number 1 and number 2 NBA draft picks. 2-day passes start at just $42 and include access to all 6 games. Visit kings.com/California Classic for more information and to buy your tickets today.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
Over there!
are statistically
It's still alive.
unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants, like lemongrass and geraniol, and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical pool, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2, brought to you by Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, E2 Family Winery, and Hyatt Vacation Club.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. I'm Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings wasted no time over the weekend pursuing EuroLeague MVP and Olympiacos star Sasha Vezenkov. Sacramento has officially offered Vezenkov an NBA contract worth part of their $12.4 million mid-level exception after clearing significant cap space last week by trading center Richaun Holmes and the 24th pick to the Mavericks. Speaking of assets, the Atlanta Hawks are sending John Collins to the Utah Jazz, sources told ESPN on Monday. The trade creates a $25 million trade exception for the Hawks, the largest in the NBA. The Hawks are acquiring Rudy Gay and a future second-round pick for Collins. Atlanta has a year to potentially exercise the exception, and the trade cannot become finalized until next Thursday. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Kyle, please hit that callback.
I'm going to light up these phone lines.
The phone is ringing, and we are checking to see who's on the line.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
News, gossip, a story.
Okay, who's the next victim?
It's the callback.
On Cattles and Ramie.
All right, our friend Keith Smith joined us from Spotrac earlier today. He was, of course, as all guests are, on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Stop Honda shop.
Jesus.
Where were you, Simone?
Texting about Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I see Simone and Ramie. Their thumbs are very busy today during breaks.
We're trying to coordinate this.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Bike.
Am I going to just walk into like a 50 text group
Possibly.
chat?
Yeah.
Possibly.
When I get out of here?
Yeah.
I've already turned off notifications on that group chat.
All right, so Keith Smith.
It's rude.
Again, joined us a little bit earlier on the show, and we asked Keith Smith his thoughts on this John Collins to Utah Jazz trade.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out from the Jazz's side. They've obviously got one of the bigger front courts. They've got Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen, and you're adding John Collins to that group. I know some people have thought it's weird, with Markkanen already there, but he has mostly played the three the last two seasons between Cleveland and Utah, and that's what they envision him as. So they're going to have a very big front line, pretty good front line too, especially if Collins can rediscover his shot. He shot well his first 5 years and then really fell off last year after a finger injury. So that gets right and his shot comes back. That's going to be a really nice pickup for the Jazz, who still have about $28 million in cap space to spend even after acquiring Collins.
Danny Ainge, he's really, I think, writing the book on how to quickly turn over from a team that had Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell to a younger team with tons of assets and options.
And a lot of people thought this was going to be like a serious tank.
It'd be like a 6-year rebuild or something.
Yeah,
right?
that we wouldn't see this team back to relevance for at least a good 3 or 4 years. You know what I mean? But they were more competitive than just about anybody expected last year. And add John Collins to that and still a bevy of first-round picks here over the next handful of years. He turned that thing around awfully quick.
He's got $30 million in cap space. I know Keith Smith said around 28, but look, you can shed a contract and get to 30 quickly. He's got $30 million in cap space. He's got, 735 first-round picks over the next 6 or 7 years. And he already has Lauri Markkanen, who really stepped up this last season and looked like a different guy entering into his prime. Collins is still young, and I think he's a good player. Kessler was really good his rookie season. He's got 3 active bigs. He's building something there. And I just, Utah has a lot of momentum behind it right now. A lot of people love the ownership group. You got Ainge making these moves and setting things up. They're a fun team to watch on the floor. Lots going on in Utah, man. And that's a no-risk trade for them. They didn't really give up anything. Rudy gained a second-round pick. Continuing with our friend Keith Smith. How unique is it for a playoff team like the Kings to have, almost $36 million in cap space, Keith?
Yeah, it's pretty unusual. Normally that happens if some young team comes to prominence way earlier than expected, and it's a team that's like loaded down with rookie scale contracts and the like, then we'll see that every once in a while. Boston got there a few years back, where they had a bunch of cap space, and it was because they just didn't have any long-term big salaries on their books. So for the Kings to be there. Now, to be clear, to get to that number, it means they're announcing Harrison Barnes. And we'll find out, are they going to, do that, or they're not going to do that? What's that going to look like? Are they going to bring him back on a lower number and still have money to spend? We'll find that all out here over the last couple of days. But what I've been saying to everybody is, you don't just move Richaun Holmes just to move him with the idea of, or let me rephrase, without the idea of something you might be able to do, by creating that kind of cap space. So that's going to be what's really interesting to see what the Kings have planned here over the next several days.
It's what we've been talking about, Ramie. That was my first thought when that deal was made on draft night. You don't make that trade if you're Monty unless you're looking at the chessboard and you know that you got some moves ahead of you.
Yeah, I think he's got a plan. Now, whether or not how set in stone those plans are, how much the other people involved in those plans know that they're involved in those plans and have kind of given the old wink, wink, nod, nod to Monty McNair about what's going to happen on Friday. I don't know, man. I hope they don't get left holding the bag, Nick. You know what I mean? I hope that whatever plan this is that Monty has, that it comes together quickly and you're not sitting there watching free agents fall off the board, and the Kings are looking at their 4th, 5th, 6th option as far as what they wanted to do this offseason.
Speaking of options, what about Draymond Green? Here's Keith Smith on that idea.
I mean, I get it, right? And that happens every year at this time of year. People start looking for, little coaches there, or an owner, or a GM, or teammates, or his best friend from kindergarten is playing on that team, and those kind of things. And sometimes there's truth to it, right? Sometimes we do see guys follow people to other teams, but then other times we land in a spot where that doesn't really, it's not really a thing, right? Where these guys are, kind of in a spot where it's like, hey, it's, better off where I am. I tend to think Draymond Green, he was always going to opt out because at the end of the day, he wants to add more years and guaranteed money to his contract. And I tend to think he's going to look at it with the Warriors and say to himself, hey, my best bet is to just keep this thing running. The Warriors are going to do the same. My guess is it ends up a 3-year contract to align him with Stephen Curry, and they both chase titles right to the end together.
I agree with Keith. I think all of this Draymond Green talk is Draymond's camp doing a great job of trying to build leverage and build his price up. I think that's what it is. He's going to end up back in Golden State. He's going to retire with Steph. I don't see it. If there's one team that you go after when you talk about leverage and you try to put the pressure on Mike Dunleavy, the new GM there, with the Warriors, it's the Kings. It makes all the sense in the world. Mike Brown connection. You just played them in the first round, and the Kings pushed it to 7 games. Could have easily won that series if it went, a certain way here and there. And it's a quick drive up the road for Draymond, so he doesn't have to uproot his entire life. You use that to try to force the Warriors into paying him a little bit more money. Maybe the Warriors are set at 25. Maybe Draymond wants 30. He came out and said he thinks he's worth $100 million.
So do I.
Of course,
by the way.
Yeah. I thought you'd go like 250.
No, I'm
Why
reasonable.
stop at 100?
Because I'm reasonable, Nick.
Oh, are you?
Yes. I'm not crazy.
If you want to roll with that, okay.
100 million.
I don't know if I'd agree.
100 seems fair,
Yeah.
if nothing else, fair.
Well, there you go. Keith Smith from Spotrac joining us earlier on the program.
$1 million in cap space.
Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. As always, our guests join us from there.
One-stop Honda shop.
Text line 916-339-1140. DeAndre Hunter, Ramie, interested?
No, not really.
I was so much more interested in DeAndre Hunter like 2 years ago than I am right now. I feel like the bloom's off the rose, so to speak, with DeAndre. A lot of injuries. Never really has come to fruition as a player that you thought he would. I loved him at UVA. I thought he was going to be really good, but he just hasn't become that guy. I'm not super excited about DeAndre.
No.
You tell me what you give up. I'll have the conversation. I'll pick up the phone. I'll have the conversation.
I don't even know if I'm picking up the phone.
So you wouldn't flip Kevin Huerter for DeAndre Hunter?
No.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Davion Mitchell?
No.
Then, yeah, we're not picking up the phone.
Davion Mitchell, yes.
Davion and let's say a couple second-round picks.
I'd go Davion Mitchell. A couple second-round picks. I'd do that.
Really?
Maybe we have to throw in PJ Dozier's contract
I don't know.
or something.
I don't know. I just looked up his deal. I thought he was a little under 20 million, but he's at 20 million this year, and then goes to 21, 23, and then 25.
I'm passing.
That's tough.
Yeah, I'm passing. No, thank you.
So with the trade exception, they can move Davion Mitchell, PJ Dozier if they guarantee his contract and draft picks. You're not doing that?
That was a lot for me to follow.
Davion Mitchell and a couple second-round picks.
No, I'm good.
All right, we'll continue with more Kings thoughts, get to some more of your reaction. Also, a difficult life question that I have for Ramie. Up next.
It was an amazing season for the Sacramento Kings. The coach of the year.
These honors don't come around often, and so you're very appreciative of them.
The clutch player of the year.
Stops, rocks, he fires for the win. He's got the triple.
And a return to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years.
16 seasons of frustration. Sacramento has clinched the playoffs.
Keep it on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for all your Kings off-season news.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Attention contractors and DIY enthusiasts. Don't miss the ultimate DeWalt sale event at Fasteners Tool Outlet in Sacramento next Saturday, July 8th. Unbeatable prices on DeWalt power tools and one-day only deals with free batteries and tools. Grab a 4-piece brushless combo kit for $299 and save up to 50% on select hand tools and accessories. Again, that's July 8th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 6701 Power Inn Road. For more info, visit fastenersinc.net.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento, and I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 74 years. Look for made in America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
With you 1 mile at a time during the afternoon drive. Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports.
All right, let's get to some Kings reaction, and then I'll have a question for Ramie.
You said a major life question?
Difficult life question.
I'm the person you're coming to for that?
I'm going to ask you if you would be able to do something.
Okay. Yes.
But first, text line 916-339-1140. Kings talk, run it back. I actually like that. Then use the assets and cap space to retool at the deadline.
Our friend JJ would not agree.
Nah. Good.
There's so much that can happen from now until the deadline. 8 months. A lot can happen in 8 days, let alone 8 months.
Yeah.
You have no idea what this team is going to look like the first half of the season.
Use it now.
Text line, the more experienced, stable, and stronger. Talking about the rider always goes on the front of a tandem bicycle. To answer our question earlier,
Okay.
Ramie.
All right.
Apparently, Brian Cardicelli is a big cycling guy.
Makes sense.
Any Brian Cardicelli here? Any cycling questions? Hit me up. Yeah, why do cyclists think they own the road, Brian?
Vehemently disagree.
What?
Cyclists don't think they own the road. There is no space for cyclists on the road.
I agree. I'm with you,
Y'all
Kyle.
keep pushing us off the road onto the sidewalks.
You live
It's
in
ridiculous.
California. Don't even get me started. Every road in California has a bike lane. You don't know how good you got it out here. I could not stand you if you were in New England. Oh, my God. Kyle in New England would be the worst Kyle.
They hate bikes over in New England.
New England Kyle would be even more insufferable.
Why?
I kind of understand.
This whole
it.
bike lane everywhere is a California thing. I'm just telling you. Okay.
It's a beautiful thing.
I think it's a good thing. I'm with it.
I don't like how some cyclists believe
By the way, they have it
that
in
they're
Chicago,
a car.
too. I don't
Okay.
think it's a West Coast thing specifically. Chicago has plenty of bike lanes.
Just telling you.
Yeah.
How are we going to make a left turn?
California has a bike lane everywhere. I'm not against bike lanes. I'm against, like, I had this guy. He literally on his bicycle just crosses a main road. Just like in front of me. Like he owns the road, like, because he's on a bike.
Got places to be, man.
I mean, what are you going to do? I mean,
I don't know. I have a car. I have a truck. Okay. If it's not a bike lane, the truck has the right of way. You are on a bicycle. Stop trying to do too much on your bike.
You're too much? Is that what you're saying?
Stick to your bike lane.
Travel safely.
Stick to your bike lane. Okay. Get out of my way. That's why they have bike lanes.
I still don't know who you're complaining
And
to.
if you're gonna cross,
But if they need to make a left turn, they have to get out of their bike lane
Exactly.
to make the
get
left
to
turn.
the crosswalk and take your left.
See, no, that's not the right way to go about it.
So you just cross a main road on your bicycle like this dude did?
Bicyclists have just as much of a right of way.
It's a bike.
Oh my God.
They don't have just as much. It's a bike.
I'm staying out of this. I got in trouble last
With
time.
your little tight suits and helmets on.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I said
I don't
it,
think
Simone.
I don't think me and Jason Ross are out here on the bikes. I don't think we're big bike guys, but I don't think we're doing the whole outfit or anything like that.
I'm saying there's a certain, and it's not every bike person, okay? Don't take it personal. There are certain bike people that really act pompously because they're on the bike. And they think that you're supposed to stop your car or vehicle because they're on a bike, and that's not true. That is not true. If you cut me off of your bicycle and I hit you with my truck, that's on you. Pick your butt off the pavement and deal with it.
I don't know.
Don't cut off a truck with your bicycle. It's true.
Should be careful.
You can't pass a main road, Kyle, whenever you want on a bicycle. What are we doing here?
I'm not saying whenever I want.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. You can't just go right across a main road. La-di-da-di-da. That's why they have bike lanes.
They have a turn signal on.
Stick to your bike lane.
Do you
turn
hate
their turn
pedestrians as well?
No, because they use crosswalks. They're fine.
They use the sidewalk. They're not in traffic.
You don't have people just what? Do I get irritated by people that just decide to walk across a main road? Yeah, I do. I do. That believe that's traffic is just going to stop for them? Yes.
By the way, is the naked bike ride a thing in Sacramento?
Why are we asking this? Why did that take that left?
Because it's been a thing.
What are you talking about? It's been a thing. It's not in my life. A naked bike ride thing is a thing now?
I'm not aware of this.
All right,
Me
I'm just
either. And
checking.
I've grown up here. Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a thing that's popped up in numerous cities around this time of year in summertime, and there are large groups of
No, there's not large
naked
groups.
people.
There's swaths of naked people on bicycles.
Check your email, Ramie. I'm sure it's somewhere in there.
I think San Francisco has a naked bike
ridiculous.
ride. I'm serious.
Stop it.
I swear to God, I'm putting it in the group chat right now. I'm gonna Google.
I'm telling you right now, if you're calling,
Our phones are blowing up right
if
now.
you're calling to argue me about bikes, save your breath.
We've lost Ramie for the rest of the show. Now. He's just going to be trying to Google this.
Go meet with the naked bicyclists and hold hands around a fire and have some
don't
s'mores.
look that up on a work computer, Ramie.
It's a legit thing here.
Yeah, but the website's blocked because you're on our station
Yes.
Wi-Fi.
I can't believe the kid has to tell you that, Ramie. Please.
Simone, what you said earlier in the show should disqualify you in saying anything. Yeah, you know what you said.
All right.
Didn't you have a serious life matter you wanted to run by me before we?
Not as serious as naked people on bikes, apparently.
I just shared it on the group chat.
Yes, the most serious of topics.
A lot of pictures in there you don't want to see.
Why would you even send it to us? Why?
Nothing graphic or lewd.
And just because you ride a bicycle doesn't mean you're in shape. Can we get
from the
this,
waist up?
Like if you look at this naked bike ride, look, if you're just because you're on a bicycle and you do something that has activity doesn't mean that you're shredded.
Yeah, put a shirt on.
What do we put a blanket on or something?
But then it wouldn't be the naked bike ride.
Well, yes.
Okay. I have questions, but I guess I'll save it for tomorrow. These things are just hanging off and just sitting where they fall.
I've never done it.
Okay.
Just telling you I've seen it.
Never done it, not going to do it, don't want to do it. Don't want to see it, don't want to hear it, don't want to do anything about it.
Once had a baseball game stopped in its tracks
because a naked person on a biker?
No,
on the bike?
It's not a naked person, Nick. I'm telling you, it's hundreds of naked people riding together.
Do we not have anything better to do with our
clean
lives?
air. That's their motto.
Oh, of course they got a message.
That's beautiful.
They all have messages. I'm sure they paint the message on their chest.
It's on their back.
I'm bare for clean air.
Ramie, you could probably help yourself out in San Francisco. I bet they're doing something like this.
Is there not a better, like you can't come up with a better idea to go for clean air than riding around on a bicycle naked? Is that really going to get your message across?
I mean, people take notice.
For all the wrong reasons. They're not paying attention to your message.
San Francisco's World Naked Bike Ride. It's happening in June.
Yeah.
We might be conflating the causation correlation there.
Causation correlation.
So, Nick, you've never been in a nudist space?
Nope.
Okay.
Shocker of the year.
I've got no interest in seeing yours. I don't want you to see mine. I don't need to see yours. What are we doing? What are we, cave people? You know who sees me, Buck? My wife. That's it. Be running around naked. What are we trying to prove? I don't get it.
Nobody's trying to prove anything. Some people are just comfortable with the human body.
Naked and afraid. What are we doing?
I've never watched that show.
I've watched it. It's ridiculous. It's a bunch of naked people doing stupid stuff.
It's hard.
In the middle of a forest. Yeah. Some of them almost die.
The clips on Twitter are funny.
Their lips are all chapped. They're in the buck.
Bit. Yeah.
Just their lips are chapped.
You get bit by a spider in the junk. It's awful.
I'm dripping wet, buck naked.
Oh, God. Who wants to see that?
Not
Nobody, other than Emily.
The Mackloff magic is beaming when I disrobe.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Just keep it to yourself.
It's quite the show.
We've gone through a lot today, haven't we?
So here's my question here. I'm going to have to really have this abridged.
Yes.
So there's this MMA company called PFL.
Yes.
And two guys fought late last week. And it pretty much resembled a light sparring match because they were two best friends. They're godfathers of each other's children. My question is to you. Could you legitimately fight your friend? Like, could you, if you were an MMA fighter, would you be the guy who could legitimately fight?
If I was an MMA fighter and it was our livelihoods, I'd like to think I could, that we both could.
Okay, if it wasn't your livelihood.
If we're wearing headgear, yes.
So headgear is the
yeah,
line.
if we're wearing headgear, yeah. I'm not trying to concuss anybody or knock anybody out or, leave any long-term lasting effects.
Oh, you just said you'd walk around naked. That would leave long-term lasting effects. And not good.
Can't even argue with that.
And that's how we end this mess. Thanks to Kyle and Simone. Good job. Ramie, you certainly were here.
I was here today.
Yes.
I showed up.
I have good attendance today. Maybe I'll be asked to come back tomorrow. Everybody, be well. Until then, it's Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports.
I think it was a woman, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Okay.
His or her grandparents were on the Titanic.
No, you're joking.
No, for real.
That's like a butt crack. You've gotten God.
Ramie's missing a couple details, but the story is correct.
What?
Here, I have it right here.
Talk about catastrophic events.
Yes.
How bad things can happen. He saved everybody.
I appreciate.
That's a 100% survival rate, Simone.
I love it.
I have
love
my facts straight. The wife of Stockton Rush, the pilot of the missing
There you
Titanic
go.
tourist submarine, is allegedly the great-great-granddaughter of two first-class passengers who died in the Titanic.
Allegedly.
How can, if they died, how can you be the
Isidore-
granddaughter?
Because they had children before they got on the boat.
Oh,
Simone,
okay.
and
Okay.
survived them.
I received that. I'm gonna go ahead and pipe down.
That just happened.
Because it wasn't Noah's Ark.
That right there just happened. But they died. How did they have kids?
Sorry.
Simone's
You know what?
dying if that was
No.
Noah's
I was really ready to go there.
That was
because
amazing.
It reminds me a lot of Wakanda. And then he had said, like, oh, my ancestors got off the ships. And I was like, how does that work?
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown